Outside of the finals, one of the most important games of the year is a grand final rematch at Central District against the Bloods from West Adelaide this afternoon at the Adelaide Oval on the Anzac Day holiday. And Central's entering the arena, and they have had the last 3 victories on this Anzac match, beating Woodville West Torrens twice and Sturt last year, thumping them by 32 points. On the other hand, West Adelaide beaten in the grand final, but they've started the season well with 3 wins and no losses. In 2004, they're missing 6 of the players who played in the grand final who've actually left the club, plus another couple who've just been left out for other reasons this afternoon. The Adelaide Oval, picturesque as always this afternoon, and there's plenty to look forward to in this clash. Welcome to Andrew Rogers, a former Eagles player. And Andrew, I think Westies are probably in a good position to challenge Centrals this afternoon, perhaps more so than in the grand final.
Yes, they probably are. Central District's probably a little bit low at the moment. Just they will be seething after a loss to the Eagles last week. But West Adelaide just rolling along nicely. No real stars in their side, just an even team effort.
Yeah, and you would think an important day, and one which Centrals have always managed to play very well on.
They have. They've won the last 3, etc. So I just think they may be just a little bit too strong again today. But West Adelaide have been very good so far this year.
Yeah, they have, and look, again, it's pretty surprising in some ways. I mean, they've lost a lot of players, and again, Scott Hahn, Dominic Cassisi, 2 of the players who are Hahn left out, played in the reserves this afternoon. Cassisi playing AFL footy, they're out.
I just think some important inclusions today with just the speed in the midfield with Bellows, Slade, Steinburner back in. Just maybe give them an edge in the midfield where they may be just a little bit too quick for the West Adelaide opponents.
Well, we're just preparing now for the last post and the ceremonies associated with Anzac Day, and we'll go down for Brendan Tasker to play the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we the left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Waiting now for the national anthem. I should mention the gentleman raising the flag, Russell Farsuit in the Navy in the Pacific, as we go to the national anthem. Andrew Rogers, there's nothing quite like that, is there? The moment's silence, and it's quite eerie when it goes around the ground, the national anthem, and then the cheer from the crowd when it all finishes and you realise you can get underway with some football.
Really, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's a great day to play footy. Historical Adelaide Oval, great surface. Really looking forward to today's clash.
I should mention also the gentleman who read the ode, Clive Whitrow, served in the Army and served as an intelligence officer in Bougainville. Part of his mission was 5 days at a time behind enemy lines, gathering intelligence. Quite a remarkable man. They're all remarkable, and thank God they were there during the years of the war. Well, Mark Soderstrom is with us down on the boundary. And Soders, what's the news?
Yeah, good afternoon, boys. Well, Central Districts, first of all, have lost 2 quality players in Heath Hopwood and also Daniel Healy, their captain and vice-captain. Yet their depth is magnificent. They've brought back 2 quality players as well, with Nathan Steinburner, who will be acting captain today, Simon Arnott coming into the side as acting vice-captain. So Central Districts probably looking like, well, they could start favourite.
Interesting call. Thank you very much, Soders. As we look at that lineup, and still there's a quality about Centrals which is undeniable after 4 years in the grand final.
They have played a lot of football together. I just love their midfield. Well, they've got some real tough nuts in there in the Gowans twins. They've also got plenty of speed in Bello and Slade, and Matty Slade probably in his best career form, best I've seen him play so far this year.
Yes, and we're just waiting for the coin toss, and obviously Steinburner, one of those players coming back into the side down there with Luke Norman. David Lester from a former Air Force bomber pilot chucking the coin, and it was won there by Centrals, the toss, and they will be kicking to the left of screen. So they will get the advantage first up, and it'd be interesting. So does what's happening with Westies. You mentioned about Centrals, and Westies, as we mentioned in the opener, they've had a few changes this season.
Yeah, they have, but they are sitting pretty on top of the ladder with 3 wins. Scott Hahn has paid the price for some indifferent form, and he had a run in the reserves earlier today. Mark Ratley coming into the side, which will assist with a little bit more pace and leg speed in the midfield, and we know Central Districts are strong there, so Ratley could be given a job to, well, handle perhaps someone like a Bello or one of the other boys with a lot of pace. And
they've mentioned pace, but look at they were struggling up forward at one stage, weren't they?
Yeah. They certainly were. I mean, they generally struggle up forward, but interesting to see Daniel Shell, Pat Steinford, a very important player for West Adelaide. And
so does the weather. We said Central's won the toss, kick to the left of screen. What does that mean?
Well, there's no advantage with a very still day here today. The sun is out, it's magnificent, the setting is sensational, the ground is perfect, top of 19 degrees. Forecast for perhaps a late shower towards the end of the game, but I've got my fingers crossed it should be fine down here.
Thanks for that, Soda. Set for a start. Here's Michael Maney.
Bet underway, Neil. Important match. Looks like Richardson's got Cowan. That'll be critical. Steinford up against Schooler. And Central's beaten badly in the ruck last week. Steinford got it down. No one can take clear possession. Piasanti from the middle of the Adelaide Oval, which is in magnificent condition. Once again, David Piasanti down a little bit last week, just the 9 possessions, and he's hobbling already. Let's hope he can get back on with proceedings. Big thump away by Arnott, back into the side, running onto it. Here's Ware, just ran a bit too fast, ran past it. Big pack of players at centre half forward for the Bulldogs. So another bounce. a little bit hobbly, David Piacenti. Important match for both clubs. Good bounce, thumped away. Piacenti got it to Glover. Quick hands to Howard, who was a star last week with 25 possessions. Scrubby old ball, Champion. Just missed it first and missed with a handball. Look for poor pleasure, but Howard gets his second possession inside 30 seconds. Rutten's there at the back off to Hyde. Did well, Norman. Chadwick. Oh, maybe a free kick to West Adelaide player. It is. It'll go to Westbrook right on the attacking 50 for West. And Westbrook, don't know whether he'll get the journey from here. He's going to kick to the top of the square. It's a long ball right to the square. Will they thump it through? Good defensive football by Sibanala. We've got our first score of the Anzac Day holiday match. A behind goes to West Adelaide.
And just really would wish he would have kicked that probably closer to the centre, to the top of the square. Very easy for Central Districts to have thumped that through.
Steinburner to Sibanala in a bit of space, closed down immediately. Champion with the hand pass inside. West Adelaide will go forward again, indirect though, and that kick advantages. Thomas couldn't bring the ball into his chest, instead brought it to ground, and they'll clear it from the back. Symes has a bit of a run down towards half forward with a kick advantages. Miles, well done. Got his man under the ball, looks to switch play immediately out to this side of the ground. Well done by Rusker, created some space in the middle. He's got Norman. That's the direction he goes. Norman now will hold up. Dre flanking him to the left. He won't go that way, he'll try and go deeper. Rutten makes the move, Rutten will take it. Rutten will turn around, and Glover leading back into the goal square. He's turned around, he's gone short. So as a result, Rutten will hold it up. Good shot from behind the goals. There's the kick, in and long. Shepherd was in there, and so was Hassan. Now Shepherd over the ball, taken off the ball. A lot of players around him in the colours of Central District. We'll get a bounce down forward pocket. Westies, good start.
They've been bright and early and been very energetic. They just need to move the ball quicker. Central District's flooded back in numbers.
Well, that's just hit the behind post, so we'll get a throw in now. Champion was the player coming across there, number 37 for the Bloods.
Neil, some bad news for West Adelaide already. David Piacenti's off the ground. Looks like he could have rolled an ankle. He's just having that treated at the moment. Mark Ratley on.
Imagine there'll be another yard and a half of tape on his ankle now as the ball comes to ground. Thomas hit late by Howard, but ineffectively, and the ball out of bounds. Centre wing, I should say, speaking of Centrals. So does...
Yeah, starting on the bench for Central Districts, Matthew Krieg, Jason McKenzie, and also Adam Swatala back in the side.
Thanks, Mark. Boundary throw in. It's the one score so far. Over the back, Howard tried to knock it down. James Gowans, kick smothered. Picked up and driven in by Ratley. It's a high kick to half forward. Good mark taken by Arnott. Good to see him back in the league side. Simon Arnott. It's been a little bit injury prone over the last season or two. Important sweeper back there for Central. Has got Harada with just the one kick last week and no handball, so he's taken a mark. And a handball to Symes. It kicks to half forward. Prokopek can't get through. Chubb's there for West Adelaide. Mops it up. Miles, they're out of trouble. Important this kick. Just sits it up. Howard's got to go. At the back, Chris Gowans. Symes dives on the football. Needs to knock it out of the congestion. And a big pack of players on that football. And we will have another bounce. Down to the West bench, Mark.
Yeah, Ryan Crane playing his second game. Brad Dabrowski and also David Piacenti, who's just having that ankle restrapped.
Bounce down. Schooler. Westbrook couldn't get it away. Howard couldn't hold on. Ware's in there, taken by Slade to Hay. The penetrating left foot kick to half forward. Cowan knocked off his run. Only blocked by Norman. Good mark. Taken by Miles. Smart player, Norman. He's got in the road. Shorts it up. Finds Glover to the run of Miles. A real springboard up half back. The kick forward. Good kick to Champion. What's he got? Chadwick goes to Shepherd in the pocket. Shepherd can't take the mark. Well done off to Hyde. Fist found the ball and found the boundary line. Good work. The kick coming into Shepherd, not quite good enough, just at his head. Andrew.
Interesting early matchup. Salam Hassan, as we suspected, went to Matty Slade straight away, so Matty Slade in for a tough day.
Westbrook came over the top, knocked it into a dangerous area. Slade was first there. Crack, he's taken. Steinfort got him. Now Howard on the left foot around the corner. Howard's gone close. He's gone very close. Great start for West Adelaide. Howard gets the goal.
And has been heavily involved early. He's one of the tough nuts I spoke about in pre-game. And you can just see it was a mixed bag there as we came out the ball. Matty Slade unfortunately let the ball go. Here he goes, gets tackled, jarred free in the tackle. And Dean Howard, ever alert, shoves it on his left foot, kicks it around the corner, finishes beautifully. West Adelaide, a very good opening.
Sensational kick by Howard. Just floated it through for a goal. Can Centrals come back? Scrappy bit of play. Just gradually grinding it forward, West Adelaide.
Michael, the news for the Bloods is good. David Piacenti actually copped a knock just above the ankle. He has been reassessed and he should be okay to come back on soon.
Thanks, Mark. Should be able to run that one out. David Piacenti. Thump forward by Norman. Well trapped by Rutten. Got it to Glover. He's quick with his hands to Paul Pleasure. Lovely tackle by Slade. Mopped up by Thomas. Slade's hard work rewarded. To Sibanala on the outer side. Long lead by Cowan. Miles is there. Awkward bounce for all. Beautifully taken by Walker. Walker spins into the centre. Chris Gowans on the fingertips. Couldn't take the mark. Good enough to recover. The spear to Shell. Couldn't take the mark. Bounced off the chest. Goes again. Toe poke. Finds James Gowans. Looks for Chris. Can't grab it. Westbrook. Run on. Ruska up against Ware today. That'll be interesting. The kick to Paul Pleasure. No pushing the back. Hay was there. Paul Pleasure jammed it on the boot. Now Shepherd. Can he trap it? No. Parada with assistance off to Hyde. Got the call to Sibanala, who's good enough to wriggle out of a tackle and dish it off to Ware. So Ware at half back. The call from James Gowans. Body work against Westbrook. Deemed a push. Advantage all paid. It goes to Norman. Norman wants to kick it down the line to half forward. Rutten getting back. Harada with a thump. Nearly took the mark. Rutten on the second grab. Ware was there. Paces on Sibanala. The handball back to Thomas. Important kick. Scrubber. Arnott good enough. Just chips it over the top and off to Hyde is away from half back for Central.
They haven't broken perfectly, you couldn't say that. And there's the kick. It was sloppy. Might work out for them, those Centrals. Umpires paid that as a mark. Don't know if that went 15, but Dre's taken advantage anyway. Richardson did well to break down that attack. And this time Arnott, well, he couldn't take it. Bad mistake from Arnott. Turned it over. Chubb slips out a hand pass to Howard. Been prominent early. And it'll go back to Chubb for the high tackle, or no, it'll go back to Steinfort. Catch what it was for. On the lead, Rutten swings around quickly, up towards full forward. From behind, Shepherd! Down low, Glover. And In Dispute will get a bounce inside the 50.
Neil, the breeze has just picked up in the last couple of minutes and will now be favouring the team kicking to the left of screen.
Central District, as we said, winning the toss, kicking to that northern end. Howard tried to come over the top. In the end, nobody got a hand on it. There's about 15 players around the ball and nobody got a hand on it. Unbelievable.
Ben Rutten's been important here early for West Adelaide. Needs to lead up the ground and test Brian Arada aerobically. Brian Arada in his twilight years, perhaps not as aerobically fit as Ben Rutten.
Well, Westies try and clear out forward of the ball and then come over the top with a thump. It didn't quite work and Bello came away with the free kick.
Bello's kick looking for Slade. Hassan's got him. And as Andrew said, it'll be a tough day at the office for Slade. Steinburner got it away. And Slade's given away a free kick. Andrew, tell us about that.
Umpire's called it for too high, but Salam Hassan has really added to his game. You can see here, it's just a little bit too high. Right arm around the back of the head.
Taken off half back by Steinburner, who looks for Prokopek. He'll have a tough job against Chris Chubb today. Prokopek goes back in after it. In comes Miles. And no one can get it out of there. And I think it'd be a cruel umpire to play it against Prokopek there, making all the play.
Yes, he certainly has had a dream debut with 6 goals. Cop Stephen Hall last week, a very seasoned defender. Once again, Chris Chubb, best and fairest winner at West Adelaide. Not going to be an easy day for Nick Prokopek.
He won't cop any peace and quiet, that's for sure. Walker, dribbly kick. Ratley, looking enormously different. in a long sleeve Guernsey and black hair. We've known him with a short sleeve Guernsey at times and with some interesting hairdo, but there he is, Mark Ratley. Good to see him back in the side. One of those borderline players that comes in and does the job for West Adelaide. Over the back, Hassan, unusual ruckman. Arnott can't break through. Just a game of inches at the moment, and we'll have another bounce. 7 points the difference in favour of the Bloods.
And West Adelaide continue to have a third and even a fourth jumper over the top, just trying to get the ball forward, very much Brisbane Lions like.
Yes, they're really intent on it, it's obvious, and backing off the pack. Simon Arnott's got a couple of possessions out of that, and here he is again, just thumping the ball mid-air in towards the forward 50. It's out in the full, so Arnott will receive another kick. This time with a little bit more direction. Ratley astray with that kick off the left foot. So Arnott about 70 metres from goal. Just taking his time. Propping it up to a danger area. Prokopek and a number of others flew. Ball to the front, Walker did well, got a hand pass out, in trouble straight away, sold his own player into trouble, will get a bounce down.
And very importantly for the Bloods, that they have their intensity high, but they've also matched Central Districts in their toughness at the footy, and just seemed around the clinches, around the bounces, just seemed to take it away a little bit better.
Yeah, they seem ready to play, don't they, for sure. Cochrane around the corner with the kick. Richardson led his man to the ball. Prokopek with a rove, and he's offline, well offline, out of bounds on the full.
Well played there by Ed Richardson. Led his, as Neil called it, beautifully led his play to the ball. At all stoppages, work your way to the front, kept the ball in front of him, did a very good defensive role.
The former skipper. Umpire calls it play on, kicks to half back, and he'd love to have that kick back, Ed Richardson. Not normally astray with a kick too often. Out of bounds on the full. Schooler gives some ground back to Arnott. They can set it up here. Arnott's going to kick it long. The leap will come from Shell. He flies in the middle of the pack. Ball punched away. Ware, quick on there. Handball out. Lovely hands. Chris Gowans, kick smothered beautifully. Falls back to Cowan. He's got to get around. Good manoeuvrability for a big man. And Cowan throws it on the boot. He's kicked it. From 45, spun on the sixpence. Drove it long. What a goal by Luke Cowan.
It's a very, very versatile player. See a great smother there from a West Adelaide opponent. Look out, just a slight fumble. No West Adelaide player came towards him, and he threw it on the boot and roosted it high. See goal umpire Cam, beautifully it goes through. Simon Arnott is collecting a number of possessions, playing a kick behind the play. Sean Wren maybe needs to address that.
It's the 100th match between these two clubs, and it's started as a beauty, hasn't it? Just a 1 point the margin. Westies look to have had the better of the early going, but Cowan with a magnificent kick, answering in kind for the Bulldogs. Just waited on another bounce in that centre square. Steinford, number 5 for West Adelaide. Isn't required. Howard just thumps it inside forward, 52 on 1. Thomas couldn't get a hold of it. Twice he's overrun it or missed it through the hands, and eventually we'll get a bounce down.
And at every stoppage, Paul Thomas was on his own in the back line. West Adelaide push another number up to the contest. Central Districts are quite happy just to have a loose man in defence.
Another bounce coming up. Central's always happy to run from the back, aren't they?
They certainly, when they set up, they rebound it, they switch the player to side. Paul Thomas always heavily involved. They rebound better than any team in the competition.
Similar area where they got their first goal, West Adelaide. Ware comes through, just hand passes it wide. Thomas just took the ball to the ground. Umpire said that was in the back. Don't know about that, but he will get a free kick. And now he'll switch it to the far side of the ground. One of the players out there is Arnott. Sibonala flanks him. Sibonala now. Having said that, it's not Sibonala. We'll come back to that. Narada out of bounds. Try again. It was off the height. In the long sleeve, should have recognised him. So things settle on the outer wing. And again, West Adelaide player flying over the top, hacked out of mid-air by Norman. Symes took the mark. Free kick though will go the other way. It'll be Champion will take it. And Just be very careful, James Gowans. He kicked that ball well and truly after the whistle had blown a couple of times, but he wasn't penalised. We have a look, Champion being manhandled at the front and pushed out of the way by Subinala. I know that guy.
A little bit soft at the end of the day, but Brad Symes had a bright start today.
Ball inside 50. Everybody missed it. Except Subinala at the back, and Hay was clever with a short kick. And here's that man Thomas, best on ground in last year's match. Anzac Day game. Shell takes a mark, centre wing. Shell will be quick to try and move it on, you'd think.
Daniel Shell. 3 goals last week. Short kick to Ware. Ware's got Gowans at half forward. Goes to him now. This is James Gowans. Short kick, and wouldn't you know it, it's kicked it to Chris. I don't know how many times that's happened in SANFL football, but Chris Gowans will shoot on goal. 150 career goals to Chris Gowans. Let's have a look at the lovely skills. We'll have a look in a moment. Some terrific skills by foot by Central District as Chris Gowans lines up, and he's away to the right. Unusually inaccurate kick by Chris Gowans. Let's have another look at that.
Generally a very
lovely
good kick. But Elijah Ware, beautiful kick into space. You can see Chris Gowans working his way into space. Just his West Adelaide opponent just dropped off him there. Needs to be more adherent to the team game plan.
Dre with the ball. Missing in the early rounds from West Adelaide. A little bit of a shock. He's found some form in the B grade or reserve grade. This is Steinfort, brought to the club to replace basically Ben Marsh, who they lost to Richmond this year. Down long, Hassan, well, just couldn't quite get up high enough to beat Schooler. If you look at the comparative heights, it's no wonder. Schooler's got about, well, almost 30 centimetres on him, I think.
It's been impressive, Pat Steinfort, with his footy smarts, the way he works into space, provides an option.
Completion over the top. I wonder if they keep coming over the top, if they're going to get caught at some stage, and that's holding the ball. Well, Thomas did well, I thought, and got out of the tackle from Glover. But in the end, umpire has deemed that he was held long enough.
David Piacenti's back on the ground. Peter Shepherd removed from full forward. Dean Howard down in the goal mouth now for West Adelaide.
Glover goes short.
They really are lacking in a tall target up forward. Shepherd is only a 6'1", 6'2" type player, more a leading forward. You look up now and there's only really Ben Rutten and Wade Champion who aren't super tall. It might be just worth to show Brad Dabrowski forward, just to mix it up a little bit.
Oh, back Rutten, he's a fair mark. Chadwick, though, might cover the distance. He has. Wow. One of the smallest players on the ground, little Tom Chadwick, gets a goal for Westies.
And he is an opportunist. I've watched him over many years and mainly in the reserves. So we need to look at this contentious free kick again. He will make the most of his opportunity. Doesn't need a lot of possessions to hurt you. And you can see there they just dropped off him and gave him some space. From just onside 50, he roosted it. And that breeze is not playing a big part as what we want, but an important goal there for West Adelaide.
Lovely kick by Chadwick. But doubts whether he can cover the distance or not. But not too much breeze here at the Adelaide Oval. West Adelaide lead by just that 1 goal. Free kick will go to James Gowans for a high tackle. Westbrook, the offender. No 25 metres. I thought it might have been just for a second. Crane looks like he's warming up. They come on the ground. Long kick by Gowans. The target will be Shell. Over the back, Richardson did well. Just knocked his arms. Bello tried it off the ground. Chubb clears to Ruska. Oh, just couldn't hold on to it. Norman tries to barge through, and the umpires, are they hot on this today, or it's over the shoulder? I thought they might have been giving a free kick against Luke Norman for holding on too long, a la Paul Thomas. And there's Piacenti. I think his day may be over. Short kick to Ruska, out of sight for West Adelaide. Steinfort, at half-back, covers the ground well, Pat Steinfort. Does a lot of work, got Westbrook in the centre, held on for long and was off. Dishes off to Dre, got out of trouble. Dre looks for Shepherd, who's back on the ground. Perhaps a short word by Sean Wren. Shepherd kicks, sets up Rutten, just got under it a bit. Arnott, as he does so well, short kick, finds Sibinala, and he's copped one fair in the face, has Sibinala, and the umpire's giving him 25. Umpire Richard Williams says that's not enough as Norman comes off. Plenty of action down on the boundary there, Mark.
Yeah, there is Luke Norman just having a break, the tired old legs, and I think we'll see Luke Norman probably come off towards the end of every quarter just to freshen him up.
Sivanala lays it off to Hay. Hay's got to get around, Crane, plenty of enthusiasm. Awkward old kick to half forward. Flying there was Walker. Ball spills over the back. Well done by Miles, who got it to Richardson. Now Richardson's going to get a free kick, or is it against him for a throw? Let's have a look. It could come back to Richardson. Nice fly. Walker.
Somewhat premature. Dre, West Adelaide's worked themselves into trouble here. Chris Gowan, slick. McKenzie over the top. Oh, good mark. Well, there's Prokopek getting the advantage of a 25-metre as Chubb tried to hold him up. There's a good mark going backwards from Prokopek. And Chubb discussing it with the umpire meanwhile. That was the start of it. He's still going.
It's a fairly heavy penalty, isn't it? I mean, he was outside 50, unable really to score from. He's a thumping kick, but probably outside his range. All of a sudden, he's well inside his range and really should finish.
Kicked 3 goals with his first 3 kicks in league football, Prokopek. And that time he's kicked one away. So Settlers level it up. 22 minutes gone. And she's a pretty good contest.
And very unlike West Adelaide to overuse the footy as they come out. They generally don't have a high ratio of handballs to kick, around 25%. But you can see there just Chris Chubb. And we didn't quite catch it there on the replay, but Nick Prokopek is a beautiful kick for goal. He finishes nicely and ties up the scores.
Goal umpire Cam showing that he squeezed that one through, Prokopek. And just waiting on the football, I think, to come back into the centre. Someone's decided to... There's David Piacenti getting plenty more attention. They need Piacenti to run in this midfield with Central District. He looks in a bit of discomfort there, the number 22 for the Bloods. And boy, that hurts. Scores level. We've gone 23 minutes in the first term. The grand final rematch. McKenzie in the ruck. For Centrals, takes it out. He's got to get rid of it and does so effectively. Foot race. He'll back Steinberner in on most occasions. Got to wait for it to sit. Gets around Ratley. Good play. Just digs him in. Goes back to McKenzie, who follows on. He'll kick to the square. Shell at the back. Just knocked it forward. Well played, Chubb. He is a grand defender. Good judgment. Went with a scrubby old kick. Look for the boundary. Umpire doesn't ping him for that. Throw it back in. Well played, Chris Chubb. Good judgment.
Very good judgment in the kick. I was waiting for the umpire to ping him there up. It's fairly deliberate at the end of the day, but look, the umpires are out there adjudicating.
That's the end of the day for David Piacenti, you would imagine. Dabrowski knocked it down. Balls to Gowans, to Arnott. Arnott from 25 metres, shoots a goal. And I think he's popped it through. Centrals by a goal. Well played, Simon Arnott. Running through from half back. He's a dangerous player.
Yeah, very smart player, Simon Arnott. But Central's worked this beautifully into space. Back inside the corridor. And Arnott's finish under pressure was great. And he has been an influential player. As I said, Sean, he's able to play a kick behind the play. Sean Redden probably needs to address that now.
Simon Arnott, 7 kicks, 2 handballs.
And I think that's the first time he's had a kick forward of the play. Running on that time, picking his moment very well. So umpire Richard Williams to thump the ball into the centre of the Adelaide Oval. Dabrowski on, comes over the top, couldn't get possession. Ratley put a great hit on Arnott, but the ball spilled and Centrals are into attack again. Prokopek and Chubb struggling, and a free kick off the ball comes to Shell against Richardson. No doubt there'll be some debate about this one too. Let's have a look.
Just don't quite catch that on the monitor there, but they were the couple that were in behind it. Daniel Shell in very good form last week against the Eagles. And Neil, you called it on the screen there where Ratley put a bone-jarring crunch on Simon Arnott. Just needed to worry about the footy more than trying to get Simon Arnott.
Well, Shell to put Central's 2 goals up. Deep into time on. Kick's accurate. Great shot down the ground. No doubt about that one. Central's lead by 12 points.
And Central District's 2-prong attack, kicking 2 goals this quarter, is going to cause some problems there. Whether Chris Chubb is the right matchup, I think he's the right matchup for Nick Prokopek. But really, Ed Richardson, whether or not he can take care of Daniel Shell. He looked pretty soft at the end of the day, that free kicking behind. Umpires are very ticky touchwood so far today. The players just need to adjust for that.
How many free kicks, Ian Mogridge?
Yes, there's been 12 so far today, Michael. There was only 22 all day on Saturday.
12 free kicks. They've been whistle happy, the umpires, for sure. Dabrowski knocked it down for West. Shepherd laid it off beautifully to Walker. West go forward. A late goal would be handy. Well done off to Hyde. Glover couldn't rove it. Howard can. Can he do a miracle from here? Goes the check side. I don't think he might have kicked it, has he? Hit the post. Magnificent effort by Dean Howard. Knew exactly what he was doing there. Thought his way through it. And nearly got it.
Yes, it's all duck and no pudding there, isn't it? He really should have centred that up. I mean, he's had a go. He hasn't quite got it. But the team rules would be to kick that back to the top of the square and maybe. But look, if he kicks it, he's a hero. He doesn't kick it, all of a sudden he's a pauper.
Well, in his defence, I'd say he did have a look. There's nobody there. And of course, we are deep in time on as James Gowans kicks it long down to half forward. Cowan was the target. Miles perhaps injudiciously deciding to fly with him rather than punch. In the end, the ball over the line at half forward for Centrals.
He has got wonderful sticky hands, Luke Cowan, so Dion Miles needs to be very diligent in punching away today.
Richardson will go with Cowan. Cowan, good stretch. Bello got the ball out of there. There was a hand pass, I think, from James Gowans. It was very, very quick. Chubb was first to the ball. Best and fairest winner 2 years ago. There's a sloppy kick. Out wide. And that'll be in the back, will it? Yes. Well, Westbrook will take advantage and take his time getting to his feet. We're just approaching the 28-minute mark. Well, what do you think, Em? Chris Gowans penalised?
Yeah, probably 6,500 the other.
Awkward kicking style down towards the wing. Good mark almost. Dabrowski in the middle of the pack, still fighting on, surrounded by a pack of dogs. One of them, James Gowans, puts his head down and prepared to concede the throw up, or at least to bounce down.
A dangerous kick there by Westbrook to bring that back into the middle. Central Districts get hold of that footy. They're at full forward with one kick. Would have liked to have gone further down the wing.
Siren for a pretty good quarter of football. Quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. Central 4-1-25, West Adelaide 2-2-14. And you would have to say a slow start by Central. Westies out of the blocks, but Central really started to steady in the second part of that first term.
Yeah, they certainly did. They showed all their professionalism there. They absorbed everything that West Adelaide could throw at them early. West Adelaide unfortunately couldn't hurt them on the scoreboard, and Central showed all their professionalism built up over the last 3 or 4 years, and they just ran the footy out. They were hard at the footy. And the important thing was they did finish their work really well. I suggest the inside 50s would be fairly even, just that Central Districts have probably made the most of their opportunities.
Yes, and that's why they've got an 11-point lead at quarter time. Let's just go through those goal kickers as well. I guess there's an example of the spread. That's how well they do it.
They certainly do. They really haven't had a centre-half forward, a true centre-half forward for probably 4 or 5 years. And really Daniel Shell's the only true full forward they've had. So they really spread it around well. As we get a look at the stats, inside 50s very even, centre breaks, free kicks heavily in favour of West Adelaide. Look, that's just an umpiring decisions. As you can see, it's a very even contest. It's just been their efficiency and how well they've used the footy as they've gone forward.
Well, we mentioned, of course, it's the Anzac Day holiday in Adelaide, so a lot of festivities, or at least commemoration ceremonies surrounding this afternoon's match. And, well, we saw, first of all, the display by the RAAF military dogs, and I love watching these things.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they? He obeys every command. Sensational the way they can train these dogs to follow all these orders.
And interesting here, now, we were watching this, and those, obviously they weren't real guns, but they were making the noise of a gun, and the dog able to sit beside its handler before it takes off. And as you can see, quite a chase. It's some hope at this stage that the target was going to get to the fence before the dog got him.
I'm always going to back the dog there, Neil. I think the bloke was he was looking around.
Now this is, wait for this, this is the 9 Mile Snipers, these guns. There are 3 firings, we'll get them all in. It's a restored World War II vintage 25-pounder artillery piece, and of course the 25-pounder referring to the weight of the shell it fired, and they call them a 9 Mile Sniper because that's its range. So if it was actually firing where? Somewhere down the Anzac Highway.
Geez, it was loud too. It was some of the blokes around would have to have their earplugs in.
And this is the Australian Army Band, and in 1950 a regular Army unit called the Central Command Band was raised at Keswick Barracks to serve the needs of the military in South Australia. Continues on today, and of course the motorcade, another tradition. Footballers who have at one time served their country, and always marvellous to honour these people on a day such as today.
It certainly is. They've enabled a day like today happen. They've given us our freedom to enjoy such a wonderful day, a great day at the footy, so we should really pay tribute to these people as they go around.
Not only World War II veterans, but also sprinkling Vietnam veterans, and of course from each of the footy clubs, as we see the Glenelg colours there and North Adelaide.
And of course these guys would have served together. You know, you can't take club loyalties into it. They would have formed a team amongst a team. So football and the battle is very similar in the way that it works together. 60 years, of course, since the D-Day landings, which basically was the start of the end of the war, 1944. So that is a memorable moment, and something I'm sure the veterans associated with this afternoon would be very much aware of. And let's just hope they get a real kick out of the day. You know, you see probably anywhere up to 6,000, 8,000 people here today. And as I said earlier, that we really do owe these men a gratitude for being able to come to the football today and enjoying a nice day at Adelaide Oval.
And this is what's so good about it too, is the reception that they get from the public, and the way that I personally think it's fantastic, the way that the public acknowledges the minute's silence, and they all take it very, very seriously.
I think it's actually having a snowballing effect at present, where the younger generation are getting involved, and as I said, they're starting to appreciate what these gentlemen did for us.
There's a view from the Women's and Children's Hospital. We've got a camera planted up there, as you see. Pretty good afternoon in Adelaide, and those showers, which Soda's referred to as possibly coming in later in the afternoon, doesn't look like eventuating at this point in time, and that'd be good news for both the clubs who like their open football.
And more than likely, Central Districts took that into a case. That Damien Arnold went down to the reserves, and Mackenzie came up into the scene as probably a more mobile player.
And what have you tipped this afternoon? Because we're going to have a look at the tips overall this weekend. I know I got one up on most people by tipping North Adelaide.
Well, I can say I've tipped them all because I'm not on the screen there so far. So I'm 3 from 3 so far in the SANFL, and as with the rest of you guys, I reckon I'm with the Dogs today. I'm pretty happy with that because I can't miss out, you see. I've already got one up on everybody, so that's pretty happy with that result this afternoon. But look, from here, they've done pretty well, Westies, early. Centrals took the initiative away for part of the quarter, and then Westies came back at the end. And we'll just discover what's been going down on the ground. Sodas is with Wayne Wiedemann, who this season is an assistant coach at West Adelaide.
We started off the quarter pretty well. A lot of pressure as we expect in Anzac Day clashes, but Central District just got on top in that second half.
Yeah, we lost a little bit in the midfield there in the latter part of that quarter. We let Arnott play loose a little bit until he hurt us, but when he did hurt us, he hurt us a couple of times pretty bad before we decided to match up on him again. So in that space of a couple of minutes, it hurt us pretty bad.
Peter Shepherd kicked 5 goals last week against Port Adelaide, but you've had him up on the wing. It's just a bit of experimentation.
Yeah, Central's generally dropped 2 or 3 blokes back in front of the full forward, so we wanted to get him a bit more one out. So we tried to drag him out of the play a bit and put a bigger body and Howard up forward. So we got Shepherd back up there to roam around a bit more.
Thanks, Wade.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark Soda stood down on the boundary and in the commentary position, ready to go. Here's Michael Maney with the second quarter.
11-point lead to Central District. Good first quarter. Goals to Cowan, Prokopek, Arnott and Shell for West Adelaide, Howard and Chadwick. Let's have a look structurally. A little bit has changed. We'll get Andrew Rogers onto that in a few moments. Second quarter underway. It's Anzac Day holiday game. Steinford. That's gone 15. It's gone about 45 up. Champion. Camped underneath it was Steinburner. Poor Pleasure. Very quick hands. Kicks it forward. Harada was there. Well done. Off to Hyde. who has got the short sleeve Guernsey on in this quarter. Quickly found Sebanoa, who got it to Steinburner. Steinburner with pace, kicks it forward. On the lead, Prokopek getting back, taking a lovely mark with a flight of the footy was Dre. Dre's got a man in Ruska running for him. The kick could have been better, but Ruska's good enough to get it. Miles provides some run at half-back. Cowan thumped it away. Good play, Luke Cowan was out of the contest, managed to get the ball away. Chris Gowans did well, where the handball sets Chris Gowans up. Can't quite get it. Diving on it was Ruska. Ball caught underneath, and the umpire was going to say he couldn't get it out of there, and a bounce.
Very clever play there by Chris Gowans. Look, to have the awareness that there was a 2-on-1, tap the ball back. Interesting, Elijah Ware today, giving nowhere near the room that he was afforded last week against the Eagles.
Someone's been watching the tape during the week, you'd have to say. Arnott to Ware, to James Gowans, who kicks it long. The contest, Prokopek in front. When he gets in front on the lead, he's difficult to get around. Kicked a lovely goal in the first term for Centrals. A lot of movement inside 50, and no one can get on their own as West Adelaide flood back. Steinford just trying to get back to provide a contest at the kick, falls short. Nick Prokopek, one for the afternoon, will kick from right on 50. Chubb just blocks it off, didn't quite go back far enough, no elevation. Well done, Norman. His kick didn't look. Ware's normally good by foot, and this time finds Chris Gowans right on 50 and a little bit straighter than Prokopek. And we saw Tom Chadwick kick a lovely goal from the other side of the ground, but you'd just about back Chris Gowans in if he went for it to kick it, although he is looking to pass it off.
Yeah, he's right on his limit here.
Wobbly old kick, and didn't come in well off the boot. Dropped by Westbrook. James Gowans is there on the left, straightens up and kicks a classical Gowans goal. Lovely kick, James Gowans, and Centrals are out by 17 points.
And never the opportunist, James Gowans. It was a lazy kick by Chris Gowans, trying to kick off one step. You can see there the ball doesn't spin at all, and Westbrook in the right spot unfortunately just spills it, and his opponent today, James Gowans, swoops on it, finishes nicely with his left foot. Just some real danger signs here for the Dogs at present.
Gowans boys very effective. Anzac Day 2003, Paul Thomas with 3 votes in the McGarry medal, Chris Gowans with 2, Quentin Graham with 1, and they streeted Stewart by 32 points, the Dogs, and they're doing pretty well this afternoon. Steinburner puts on the afterburners, drives it up towards full forward. Prokopek couldn't handle it. Shell was his backup, over the head and back and close, and Richardson did well to knock it away, and even more fortunately it hit the post, did it? That was fortunate because it looked like he was trying to knock it back into play, which was even more dangerous.
Interesting, Ed Richardson chose to stay off Daniel Shell there and not go with him and guard his goal. Does a good job at the end of the day just to get this out. And good view there from goal umpire Cam.
Miles finds Howard. Howard to Steinford, who really can run off. Long kick forward, Rutten and Harada. Rutten got the fist on, ball toward the boundary line. No one can grab it before it goes out. We'll have a ball in. Centrals by 17 points. Here's Symes, number 6. And the beautiful Adelaide Oval. Just a picture. 365 days a week, it's magnificent down here. Free kick in the ruck contest will go to Steinford against Schooler. So Steinford, a major player, terrific player, 13 hit-outs last week, plenty of possessions, long kick inside 50, Hassan worked his way to the front, Sibanala came from a long way back, roving at Ware, normally uses the football well, goes to Bello, who nudged Walker out of the contest. Well done, Walker, back in again, second effort, did well, held his feet, saw the ball to the line.
Yeah, great play there by Walker, but West Adelaide really do struggle for a tall target as they go forward. Ben Rutten is moving around a lot.
Thanks, guys.
As I said, Brad Dabrowski might be just an option to throw forward just to unbalance the Central District's defence.
Schooler, great push down to Ware. The quick kick forward, James Gowans over the ball. Has a look around, shrugs off his man, Westbrook too easily. Centres up, Cowan coming in the lead. Central streaming forward, Arnott on this side of the ground, that's the target. Arnott when he gets the ball, will have somebody flanking him on the outside, and Sibanala goes in short. Bad decision. Norman played 16 games of AFL footy and just dropped it in short to Miles. In turn, Rusker running on the wing, got a bit of space in front of him. Rusker down towards half forward. Rutten couldn't take it. Central's at the back. Well, they could have cleaned up, but Symes just overran the ball. As you see under there, the 50-metre line. Good crowd in.
You just spent it before he actually got it then. Look, get the footy first, then worry about what you're going to do with it after you've got it.
Westies just need a goal, just perhaps steady a bit. They've been under siege. Westbrook drives it up. That'll go out of bounds, you would think. Yes.
Off to Hyde, seeing that one out of bounds. Just nothing happening up forward for West Adelaide, Andrew.
They're just moving the ball too slowly in, and now Central District's a flood back in numbers. Give full credit to the Central District defenders, the riders, Sibanalas and the off to Hyde who are really unsung heroes in this Central District outfit.
Rutten does the work, but Schooler got it down. Westbrook sharked. Taken by Thomas. Can't get through. Well done, Paul Pleasure. Didn't let Thomas break away. Sean Wren pondering. His side down by 17 points at the moment, 18 points. Bounce down. Schooler knocked it down. Paul Pleasure just threw it on the left boot. I think he might have snuck it in for one behind. Jason Paul Pleasure, who really has been relishing his role in the midfield after playing mostly as a backman last year.
He certainly has. He's an emerging player, but interesting that they started him starting with a permanent half forward or permanent forward blocker. Look, perhaps use his footy smarts in the midfield.
They've thrown him around this season, haven't they? His Ware was the target, and he'll get a free kick. Rusker coming over the back. Umpire didn't appreciate it. Not exactly sure about that one either. Didn't have his eyes on the ball, but he didn't have his eyes on where the ball was coming in, but I didn't know there was too much wrong with it. From the back, Hay, thumping kick by Hay, covers 50 metres and then some, and Dre with a good mark. He'll on his left foot, or his left hand in this case. Miles, our champion, on the outer side of the ground. Kick was poor, easily intercepted, off the Hyde. Change from a long sleeve jumper, and champion takes a strong mark, does he? Yes. Umpire ruling, took the second grab inside the line, almost set up Dre, was good enough to get it to Walker. He's in trouble. Steinfort got the little hand pass out. Chadwick did his teammate Ratley no favours. Central harassing all the way. We'll get a bounce down.
It is not the blood style and Sean Wren's game plan to handball and use the footy similar to a Sturt. Their ratio of handballs to kicks is very high. They generally kick with the foot. Look, the more times you touch the footy, the more chances you're going to make a mistake.
In fact, ranked last this season in handballs per game at 57. South Adelaide is the next side. They're ranked 8th in handballs and they've got 89. So they're 32 on average less handballs than the next club up the ladder. So that's a very good indication of how direct Sean Wren wants his players to be.
And I think most of the handballs are actually under pressure from Central Districts, hence they're missing the target.
Howard can't get through. Poor Pleasure, tackled. A fierce contest at the moment, and Steinburner just picks up his opponent, just heaves him to the ground.
It's a very similar game last week where we saw the Eagles play Centrals, and the Eagles fumbled under pressure with the Central Districts pressure they applied. If they can maintain this for 4 quarters, Central Districts will win this game.
They did drop off the pace, didn't they? Westbrook kicks it high, Rutten at the back. Thomas stood his ground. Ratley couldn't get away with the football and then immediately attracts 2 or 3 Doggies players. And another bounce. 17 points the difference, ticking in to close to 10-minute mark of the second term. ABC football in the SANFL from the Adelaide Oval.
Michael, West Adelaide obviously struggling up forward. Peter Shepherd's come off the ground. Brad Dabrowski's been given the job at full forward.
And I think Andrew Rogers flagged that in the first term. And it's only taken about 20 minutes for the West Adelaide coaching staff to get tuned into ABC television. Gowans got the free kick at half-back. Sibanala runs through the centre of the ground. The big man decides to have a bounce. Awkward kick forward, but it's good. It finds Shell right on 50. Now he's waiting for a few players to get back. Cowan's one of them who really is trying to run to the goal square. But I think Daniel Shell would get the distance from here.
Yeah, I think it'd be a chance, but that's a great game plan there. We saw the switch of play, open up all the space, allow Daniel Shell to move into that space.
Daniel Shell from right on 50, gives it a good ride. Will it come back? I think it might have either just hit the post or just faded away to the right. So another behind to Daniel Shell. As I look at him, he's kicked 1 goal too for the afternoon.
Yes, and last week he was inaccurate. He kicked around 4-4 last week for Centrals against the Eagles. So he just needs to sharpen up his kicking.
Good kick from Miles. Ratley with that hand pass which set up Miles, and he gets it back again, fortunately. Thumps it to this side of the ground. Dangerous. Richardson did well. Got around the player trying to put some pressure on him. And now Richardson comes to this side of the ground. Hassan hasn't seen much of the ball here. Modric will tell us just how much in a moment.
It's just his second possession.
Very much down at the moment. I think in fact last time Hassan played here he knocked himself out, going back very bravely for a mark that a lot of people remember who saw it for a long time. Ball down towards half forward. Howard. Thomas was good behind him. Schooler, the ruckman, roved. Now Thomas, got a player loose, finds him quite easily. Krieg has a quick glance inside, as good players do at this level. Then decides, no, the option's long. Shell in the middle of the pack brought it down. Walker skirts away for West Adelaide. Champion from the side, trying to take out the pack. Left the ball behind, not the greatest of kicks out on the fall from Krieg. Be very disappointed with that disposal. Centre wing just to the interchange area. Now Dre's got a couple of people, a couple of players in his colours in the middle of the ground. Opts to go longer and direct down towards half forward. Broughton was strong, brought the ball to front. There was Howard, speaking of strong. And we'll get a bounce, will we? The ball tied up in there by half a dozen players. Howard loves it tough, over the top again.
He's a great player to have on your side, isn't he? He's tough at the contest, he generally uses the footy well. And him along with Luke Norman are the real tough nuts. They're going to really challenge the Gowans twins today.
Interesting point Tim Geneva made last week about he'd like to see Howard give that quick give instead of the push off, just release quicker.
Yeah, at times it certainly can work that way.
Symes working hard, gets it back to Swatala, who's on for his first run, back in the side today. Thumped over the back by Cowan, front and square, Bello. Lovely clever tack to Krieg. Krieg, his kick, a tumbler. Richardson held without the football, no. Hayes got Gowans. Gowans from 35 metres out on a full burst, splits the middle. They know how to kick a goal, the Gowans boys. That's his second for James Gowans. And the movement of the football, Andrew Rogers, typical Bulldogs.
And it was great movement here. We just saw a fumble there by Ed Richardson, but here on centre wing we saw a number of players go up in the air. There were about 4 Central Districts players front and centre. Eventually it was Bello that worked it forward. Tyson Hay, don't know what he's doing down. He's run down from the back pocket. And the Gowans twins, what they can do is finish probably better than anyone else in the Central District side.
James had 9 kicks, 3 handballs today. Only Arnott's had more possessions, but I fancy James has been more efficient.
Ball down in the middle again. It's Chris Cowans. Arnott always at the back of the pack. Down long. Chris Cowans scooting the pack, realised he didn't have the pace. Westbrook did well, got a kick back. Well taken by Steinfort. He breaks from half back. The big man does well. Straight down to centre half forward, long and direct. That's the way they want to play, especially if Rutten's there to take a strong mark. Looks around, waits for the lead. Dabrowski on the lead to his left. Opts against it. Now he's in trouble. Central's able to flood numbers back now. Got a short one in Norman. That's the way he goes, the captain. Well, he takes no time at all. Thumps a beautiful pass in. Hassan! Oh dear, what a mistake. Oh, just took his time. Took too much time. In fact, could have taken all day if he wanted. He had a mark and he decided to play on, and that's a bad mistake.
And isn't that great play by Paul Thompson? You can see him there, looks out of the contest. Salam Hassan, just a great effort there. put some pressure on him and save a certain goal.
Hay cuts through the middle, long kick, Shell at the back, Richardson at the front, held his ground. Second effort was good. Miles tapped it down. It only went to Chris Gowans, whose quick kick finds James. They're telepathic. That's all right. The paddle goes to Shell. He has kicked another one. Well, the doggies can do no wrong. They're at the 5 goals. Easily the biggest margin so far in this game.
Yes, so certainly when they get the ball forward, they work hard as a team. Great play there by Gowans to get the ball forward. Daniel Shell, just a lunging tackle there by Westbrook, just can't get hold of him. But that's just team play. Could have quite selfishly picked it up. Maybe got a stat for a handball or a kick to go forward. Paddles the ball forward. Daniel Shell, ever the opportunist, gets his second for the day.
I'll be hearing some noise in the background. 16-minute mark. It isn't a siren, although it sounds very much like it from time to time. Perhaps not quite as loud. There's been a couple of incidents recently where, well, one last season, one this season, where there was a noise from the PA system, or in one case a train passing the ground at Elizabeth was mistakenly thought to be the siren. Umpire's not fooled by whoever's got that horn going in the crowd. There's Marco Bello taking a break, and speaking of taking a break, there is a change for the blood rule, Sodas.
Yeah, Chris Chubb just got a little bit of blood on the knee, so he's coming off to have that cleaned up. Won't be a problem at all. Ryan Crane taking his spot, and we did see Marco Bello having a rest, and Matthew Slade's come back on the ground, so Sean Walker will have his hands full trying to encounter the pocket dynamo.
Ryan Crane, in just his second match now on the field, got the job in front of him. Champion pulls down Simonala from behind. Too high, said Richard Williams. Don't know about that either.
I got it red.
What a luxury to be able to pull Marco Bello off and put Matty Slade on.
Here's Arnott from the back. He really is a general. Goes down towards Thomas. McKenzie doing the roving as only a ruckman can. Drop the ball. Ball out of bounds, centre wing.
He's an interesting character though, McKenzie. Can play forward, can play back. Reserve ruckman. Really needs an opportunity to cement his place in front of Damien Arnold, who played in the reserves today.
Peter Hellier look-alike. Away goes Howard to Hassan. Hassan, the spiral, Dabrowski on the end of it. He'll run in and kick an easy goal for the Bloods.
Now that's the time to play on.
Did they need that?
It's enough. I don't want a ruckman to play on though, Neil. That's the thing there. But maybe it's time for Sean Wren to release the Salamis Antag and say, look, we need you to get control of the footy. We really haven't got it around the middle. Use your leg speed to break it open. And Brad Dabrowski just read that better than anybody else in that pack. Goes off and finishes with a simple goal. And look, a very important goal. This game had nearly broken open, was nearly out of reach.
It was his first touch of the ball today.
Back in the middle, Hassan just overrunning it. James Gowans, McKenzie with the ball quickly out of there. It's called play on. Rusker dropped it. It's good enough to get it to Norman. Oh, there's luck. Maybe it's turning for West Adelaide as Glover drives it down towards half forward. They've got numbers at the fall of the ball. Here's Hassan, who was clever before. That wasn't the greatest of kicks. Perhaps could have gone longer. Off the ground, off to Hyde. Hassan's hurt himself somewhere in that tackling incident there, and Ware gets the ball for Centrals, drives it out of the defensive area. That was over the shoulder. Luke Norman infringing. Gowans to take the free kick. Hassan is up, we see him there. Just looked a bit uncertain for a moment. Ball down centre wing, well taken by Cochrane, but he took it straight out of the hands of Westbrook. Umpire saw it that way. We've just heard that call. We do have them mic'd up today, the umpires. West Adelaide, short to Rusker. They are going short. They are being forced to go short by Centrals. It's not Sean Wren's style. It's not what he wants from his players. Now squaring to Walker. Chubb, who's just come on the ground, will be the next in line. Will he? Yes, he'll take this one. Off with the blood rule, back on the ground. Nobody except Walker behind Chubb. So Centrals have crowded that forward line. Well roved. Rutten's hurt himself in that marking contest, or has he? No.
Easy, guys.
Porplesia was the man who did the roving, just caught then in a tackle. We'll get a bounce down. Into time on. 23 points the margin. Centrals lead the Anzac Day holiday clash.
They lead it by 23 points. Hay over the top, champion. Tried to get it to Ratley. Well done, Hassan. Threw it on the boot. It bounces, and Harada escorts it through for one behind. It's back out to 22 points now.
West Adelaide just seem to have worked their way back into the game now, and Salam Hassan seems to be one of the players that all of a sudden starting to get his control of the footy.
Well, again, the horn goes, and there's a hesitation, I think, from everybody except the players. Sounded vaguely like the siren, no doubt about that, but we're just into time on in the second term.
Let's hope it's not the bugler before the game.
So just a lull. Ball comes back in. McKenzie holding out Steinfort. Westbrook rode well. Good kick, no, missed his target, and now it opens up for Centrals, and Thomas is just the man to take advantage. Down to Cowan, strong mark. Chris Gowans, the point out from Prokopek. Well, he just pointed to that side of the ground. Chris Gowans delivered the ball perfectly to the right place, and Prokopek with the mark. No doubt delighting his grandmother, who's recovering in Memorial Hospital at the moment, Nancy Bytheen, who is grandmother of Nick Prokopek. I hope you're doing well. Central District Ladies Auxiliary passing along that message. So lines up. Just 25 metres out, pretty much no angle to work with. This is the shot from behind the goals, no problems. Centrals just show how easy it can be.
And really that pattern of play there really deserved a goal, the way they brought it out. Just a missed kick, brought it back into the middle again by Westbrook. And it's Paul Thomas who was able to hit. So go for hit Luke Cowans with a beautifully weighted kick. Quick handball outside. And and this is great play by Gowans, just to kick it to the side of Nick Prokopek. He's worked it to the side. He was able to use his body to hold off Chris Chubb, take a beautiful one-handed mark and finish. It's a great kick for goal. He's enjoying his day because Central Districts are controlling the midfield.
And the Westbrook kick just missing the target and setting up that goal. We'll have to find a different way home. Where to Steinburner, relishing his return. Looks for Cochran. Dre wearing him. Ball trickles out of bounds. Good contest that. Cochran just getting up, saying how about a free? Not on. The umpires have played enough today. I think they've brought 2 whistles today, Andrew.
And Richard Cochran is an emerging player. He's a very integral part. He's holding some good players. David Kellett we saw last year. Another Ricky Butler, some really good young players out of this side.
Steinfort taken out of that contest. McKenzie cleverly got it to Steinburner. Steinburner kicks it long to the square, shoves at the back. He shoves everyone in the back. Umpire says play on. Richardson has got to take it through for a behind. Well, Daniel Shell gave the pack an enormous shove there. The umpire right on the scene, no free kick.
You just needed to take a couple of steps back and have a really good jump at it. He had Ed Richardson under the footy.
Ball back in quickly. Steinfort will take a free kick. Bellow and Ware looked like they were penalised for running, as you heard, from the front.
That's been consistent though. That's been consistent. They paid one earlier against Shannon Rusker.
Well, that was short. Rusker, speaking of that man, goes across to the left foot, opens it up. Walker in the middle, goes to take off and then runs sideways. That won't impress the coach either. His long kick off to Hyde, overran it. Quick back up from Symes and Slade, who was short. And now they'll swing it back into the middle. Corridor football from Centrals. Chris Gowans just taking his time, as I said. Last year received 2 McGarry votes in this corresponding Anzac Day match. There's a mistake. Dabrowski, see, it can happen. West Adelaide, probably a poor choice from Dabrowski to play on. And that was even worse. So they do create an error and then they make one of their own. Central's a chance to clean up. They're in there in numbers now, they've recovered. And will eventually get a bounce down. Yes, Dabrowski took down his man very well here. And off to Hyde, just trying to fool him. And of course Dabrowski turning the ball straight over again.
Just at the bottom of the picture there, you see Chris Gowans coming off. In trouble with the left shoulder.
It's a relief because you can't tell the Gowans boys apart. They're looks in quite a deal of trouble. Meanwhile, Mackenzie takes a kick. Cowan, what a leap. Didn't need any help. Now here's James Gowans. James Gowans, opportunity, nobody in front of him, could take a couple of bounces, opts to centre up, and look at that shell. Well, if he'd fumbled that any more times, he could have made a real mess of it. But James Gowans, what a beautiful kick, what a beautiful centre.
He was given time then by a great shepherd by Adam Swatala on the wing. Adam Swatala, reluctantly, or not reluctantly, but chose to come across and protect James Gowans, just to give him the time to give a beautifully weighted kick in front of Daniel Shell.
So James Gowans' first option, he was looking to give the ball to Swatala, and the shepherd came. So the ball from Shell off the outside of the boot down towards full forward. Mark taken by Sharp, strong mark. Suspicion that might have come off Prokopek, but he's taken the mark regardless and plays on to Miles, and Westies away on the far side of the ground.
Miles, a couple of bounces out of half-back. Westies would dearly love a late goal. Kick to the wing, Champion flies, and Poor Pleasure will come up with it. Well done, Poor Pleasure.
It's got good hands for a smaller midfield.
Kick to half forward, kick to Rutten, and a standing contest. Dabrowski couldn't mark. Glover, we know, is clever. Threw it on the boot, only as far as Symes, who got back well. They can switch play. They've got Swatala on this side of the ground in a bit of space. Decides to go up the middle to Sibanala. Sibanala done pretty well today. Short kick, and you give them a rap and they let you down. Poor Pleasure. Now this is a critical kick. Getting close to half-time. Good kick finds Dabrowski, who looks much better on the lead. He's got to kick it long now to a contest. Hassan up against Slade. A couple of real tall timbers, and Hassan takes the mark right on the siren and played on and didn't hear the siren. What a mistake. He needed to go back and kick the goal. There'd been a lot of horn blowing during the course of the second term, and I think he's probably got it mixed up with the siren. And Salim Hassan is beside himself. Andrew Rogers, what an end to the first half. Now someone's had his horn confiscated on the outer side of the ground, Andrew, and rightly so. There it is. Now that could have cost West Adelaide a goal if that is in fact what has happened. Shaking his head there, Salim Hassan, but at half-time, Central's 8-4-52, West Adelaide 3-5-23. Andrew Rogers take us through the goal kickers in that first half.
So two late opportunities not taken there by Salim Hassan. Just could have added to that West Adelaide side. We could look at singles on their side of the ledger. For Central Districts, multiple goal kickers in Shell, Gowans and Prokopek, with both Cowans and Arnott with one each.
Yes, and those stats, inside 50 is pretty even, but the effectiveness of Central's just obvious there.
Yeah, just the amount of pressure the Central's players put on the West Adelaide, they've tended to panic under pressure. Central Districts on the rebound have really hurt them with a very high skill level.
Now look, you mentioned Salim Hassan giving up a couple of opportunities late. We're going to have a listen carefully to just what happens here with the final siren to end the first half as he takes his mark. Umpire not coming in. The significant part there is that most often an umpire will come in and blow time off and set the angle in that sort of situation, but you heard clearly the umpire didn't blow time off. He didn't get an opportunity to set the angle, and as a result Hassan was caught playing on after the siren.
And interesting, you saw Wade Champion just in the bottom of the picture there. He heard the siren all right, so Salim Hassan, just an awareness that the siren didn't go.
And of course there was that horn or some sort of instrument, if you like, taken off a spectator out there, which, well, maybe it played a part in Hassan thinking that wasn't the siren.
Yeah, it could well have. It's unsettling for both players, supporters, everyone. Look, it just needs to be getting rid of out of this game.
Well, it was. So I don't think we'll see that again this afternoon, unless the security guard intends on mucking around with it a little later. Sodas down on the boundary. Beautiful afternoon for you, isn't it, Sodas?
Absolutely magnificent, Neil. The Adelaide Oval, my favourite stadium in the world without a doubt, and well, it's beautiful. And we did say there could be some rain later on, but I don't think it will be there. Just had a chat to the West Adelaide doctor, David Piacenti. We did see hurt his leg very early on in the match. He did get a knock just above the ankle. The concern is that perhaps it could be a broken fibula, the fibula being the smaller bone in the lower leg. Doesn't take a lot of pressure to do some damage there, and that's their concern at the moment. So news not good for David Piacenti. For Central Districts, on the other hand, they're pretty happy because Chris Gowans did come off with a damaged shoulder, but it's believed to be only a pinched nerve, and he should return to the game.
So outsiders, they breed them tough, and Elizabeth, and in particular the Gowans. They are men for every occasion, aren't they? As we're just about set for the second half, players in position. Michael Meaney is in position for the start of the third quarter.
Thanks, Neil. 29 points, the difference. As we head into the third quarter of SANFL round 4. Bounce down in the middle. Schooler and Steinford, they nullify each other. Steinford might have just won it. Schooler off the ground. Centrals go into attack. Cochrane, lively. Dre was there. Put on by Miles. Couldn't get the clean handball away. Early bounce for the umpires just inside the attacking 50 for the Bulldogs.
And we take Paul Scholar for really granted. He is a very important ingredient in this Central District side. If he can nullify at least Pat Steinford today, their on-ballers could well do the rest.
Has come on in leaps and bounds, Schooler. Gowans, that's James, who got it to Chris. He lines him up with a left boot. And the ball falls through. No, Shell off the ground. Slade, just his second kick for the day. Slade, the handball back. Chris Gowans. They tried once, they tried twice. Third time lucky as Chris Gowans kicks his first goal of the afternoon.
And we'll get a look at that on replay. You can see they just worked really hard to keep the ball alive. Good hands by Matty Slade, but their hands under pressure are sensational. They give the right handballs, nice heap handball, and Chris Gowans just finishes off relatively easily. It's just what West Adelaide didn't want at the start of this quarter.
Well, doesn't that hurt? With Hassan playing on after the siren for half-time, and barely, a minute into the third quarter, Centrals take it forward and score a goal. Here's Arnott from the middle. Schooler, just slow with the hand pass. Chubb, Ruska, got the hands free. Bradley, under pressure. Centrals crashing in against Steinford, surrounded. Talk about under enemy fire. Central's coming in from all angles.
And there's that handball that would disappoint Sean Wren. I think he'd rather him get it going forward, kick it long, hard and high under pressure, get it going our way.
Centrals, speaking of going our way, here's Ware, lines it up, easiest of goals, margin out to 41 points. The Bulldogs on the march.
Some real danger signs here for West Adelaide. Centrals have bounced out of the blocks, and Elijah Ware is a very interesting newcomer, very pacey off the wing. We saw him play a great game last week against the Eagles. He can finish. He runs into a nice open goal. He's one of the players that Roy Laird has put into this side just to generate enthusiasm and new freshness about the side, and is certainly earning his way at present.
7 kicks, 7 handballs today. Only Simon Arnott's had more disposals.
Got a good scalp last week in Colville, pretty much. I thought he beat Gavin Colville on the day last week. Good scalp to have. The 21-year-old, his first goal of the game. It's out to 41 points. Long way home now for West Adelaide. Hassan out of the centre. Needs to get a few more touches on the football. Long kick knocked away. Off to Hyde. Or is there a free kick? And it's thumped away by Westbrook. Westbrook's in trouble. Thanks, Neil. I'm just trying to work that sign language. Finally got through, and he is struggling with an ankle by the looks of things. Ball thrown back in. Norman jammed it on the boot to the square. Dabrowski can't trap it, and copping one too high was Simon Arnott. And Westbrook is in all sorts of bother there. Arnott got it to Hay. Long kick down the wing. Chubb in best position. Takes the mark in front of Ware as Westbrook is off the ground. We'll go to Sodas in a minute for the replacement. Long kick. Steinford does the roving. I'll do it on my own. Kicks the check side. Gets a little bit too much angle on it. And the big fella didn't show that he's got a left boot there, Andrew Rogers.
concern, and most ruckmen really haven't, Michael. But look, he's an impressive player. Very footy smart. Interesting early matchup. Chris Chubb has been pushed forward. Wade Champion's been given the role at full back. So just Sean Wren trying to get some more marking power up forward.
Well, West Adelaide going man on man from the kick in, and Steinburner showing his pace. Got away, took the mark. Kick wasn't really effective, out of bounds. Centre wing. Symes, that player there with the headband on. Don't think it's a fashion statement. I think it might have something to do with some blood. Bit of a cut there somewhere. 40 points the margin. 4 minutes into the third term. Westies need to make a move. Walker at the base of the pack, in trouble. Richard Williams, the umpire, coming in to take charge. It's Westbrook. Soda's clearly working on that ankle.
Yeah, he's definitely done some damage there. Now, with obviously David Piacenti missing as well, West Adelaide down to one fit man on the bench in Peter Shepherd.
I think it was off the ball too. I don't think there's anything involved in that incident. It was off the ball, and we'll show you the incident in a moment as Rutten takes a clever one-hander just inside the 50. He took the mark. He'll kick from just outside 50. Thumping kick from Rutten to the goal square. Howard at the back fumbled it. Oh, there was a goal just waiting to be had there. And Central sweep the ball forward again. Arnott on the break.
Arnott finds Hereda. A man over the top in Thomas. A bounce. Driving kick, looking for Shell at the back. Slade, he flew. Should have stayed down. Just about a chance. Hassan there. Mops it up. Scrubby old kick, effective. Clean bowls Glover. Can he get round Cochrane? Quick hands. Away it comes to Miles, who uses Hassan, so they're out of trouble. On the break is Norman. Now with the flight of the ball, just waits for it to sit. Well played, Norman. Schooler can't quite get there. Kicks down, looking for his old mate in Howard. Which way will it bounce? Oh, lovely play by Howard. Now he needs to finish it off for the goal. The spear, left footer. There's a beauty from Dean Howard. Showed all his class, all his experience to get around and kicks his second.
Yes, and Dean Howard probably owed West Adelaide a goal. We saw just earlier Ben Rutten go forward, beautifully shepherded by Brad Dabrowski, and Dean Howard inexplicably got in the road, dropped the mark, and really cost West Adelaide a goal. That way shows all his strength, palms off the tackle of Marco Bello, finishes nicely with his left foot. Look, interesting, inside 50s, 29-27 favouring West. They just haven't made the most of their opportunities.
You could say that. 64 plays 30, Central's in front. James Gowans prepared to take the tackle, and we'll start again. Let's go back to that incident involving Westbrook. Actually, bottom right of the screen, there he goes. Just caught the edge of it, but as you saw, there was nobody near it. Just rolled the ankle, and it looks like it might be a fairly bad one as Sibonala bravely goes back, takes the mark, gets some good support from Symes, who kept Chadwick away. Sibonala now squares it, Arnott. Too short according to the umpire. Symes though, that was fine. Look at the way they bring the ball down the centre corridor. Sibonala, high kick, that wasn't meant. Punch came from Ratley, followed up on the ground, but well pushed away. Cochrane taken to ground, umpire call play on. Westies working hard from defence. Get the ball towards half forward. Chubb caught behind, and as a result Symes takes the easiest of marks. And they'll work the ball to the far side of the ground again. Back through the middle comes Steinburner. They know where they have to go, Central. Steinburner too quick for himself. The left foot wasn't the best. Walker with the punch. Dre. Loose hand pass. Again, under pressure. Hand passing. And that's just not West Adelaide's style. Central's pouncing in there. We'll get another bounce centre half forward for Central District. They're in control of this match.
Neil, just an update on Ashley Westbrook. He did damage his ankle, or well, it's really near his Achilles at the back of his foot in the first quarter. Got through the second quarter, but just pushing off there has caused some problems. He's getting iced up, and we won't see him for the rest of the day.
It's like a blood rule, as Ben Dre is the man, and luck's a fortune. The one man who will emerge from the bunker is Peter Shepherd. He'll come on to replace Ben Dre, as he'll get some work done to the nose by the looks of things.
What do you do if you've got nobody there to come on?
Quick.
I suppose you've got to go off, haven't you?
Well, Westbrook's got to go to sit in a forward pocket or something like that. You know, that's your least. You can't put him in the back line because he's going to get hurt back there. Look, put him in a forward pocket.
Can remember Shane Stevenson for Hawthorn kicking a goal with a broken leg when Hawthorn ran out of men going back a few years ago.
Michael, I can also remember Mark Viscus standing in the goal square up in Sydney when the Crows were all out of men and he couldn't even move.
It's a toughie. Comes a fresh air shot. There we go. Symes just missed.
And good pressure there by Chris Chubb. Look, trying to hold the ball in the air, exactly what Sean Wren would want from him.
Steinford got it down. Ratley can't get through. They smother him. Chris Gowan's the man with the tackle. West Adelaide need another goal. They need to string a couple together. They haven't been able to do that so far in this match. Got the first couple of goals, I think. Chadwick was one of them and Howard got the first. But they really haven't been able to string goals together in regular intervals. Another bounce. Just about 10 minutes gone. And 34 points the difference. There's Tom Chadwick. And Ben Dre with the plugs up the nose. Schooler and Steinford. Quick hands came from Howard, got it to Rusker. Rusker's long probing kick is a beauty. That will inspire West Adelaide. Lovely running goal by Shannon Rusker. He kicks his first for the afternoon and they peg it back to 28.
And exactly what they need to do to take some risks and run forward. And Shannon Rusker took the risk, ran forward, carried the footy beautifully and showing his AFL experience there. Finished nicely. So West Adelaide just creep back into this contest. They will persist. We saw them in the first game of the year against South Adelaide come from behind at three-quarter time, kicking into a breeze. They will continue to persist all day.
Shannon Rusker, 9 kicks, 3 handballs.
Look at that lineup in the centre. They are taking some risks. They're not manning up. They're just going all out, hoping that Steinford can deliver the ball. Steinford trying to deliver a tackle. Chris Gowan's just that little headlock move there. Likes a bit of a scrap. Steinford happy to accommodate him. Just watch now, a lot of players around the ball in the middle of the ground, as is the way in modern football. Steinford got a hand on it. Hay, I think it was, who slapped it forward. Where greater presence just gave it out to Steinburner. Approaches 50, around the corner, just forced a little wide and out of bounds, I think, in the end. Or was it on the full? It was touched. Ed Richardson, perhaps the last man just to get a hand on it. That's champion. The ball in the forward pocket in the shadow there of the scoreboard at the Adelaide Oval. It's not a pretty sight if you happen to be a West Adelaide fan. Here's Paul Pleasure. Out of defence, long kick. Thomas just judged it better and quicker than Crane. Thomas belt the ball back in long. Shell went high, ball to ground. Cowan fumbled. Miles stayed on his feet, took it away. Glover missed the target. They've done a lot of that, West Adelaide. Cowan, he found the target. Shell lays it off to Gowans around the corner. Awkward kick down towards the goals. Still alive. Chris Gowans. And Paul Pleasure finally takes the ball over the line. Blessed relief for the West Adelaide defenders.
And once again, it was a handball under pressure that caused a turnover. Generally, the West Adelaide handballs have been too slow and too high, and they've allowed Central Districts to get at them.
Still at 5-goal margin. Shell knocked it down. James Gowans spun around, picked up by Chris Gowans. Can't get through the traffic. They collar him. McKenzie just got a quick kick on it. Shell got it from Krieg. They kicked his third. Quick hands, Krieg to Shell. A lot of good work done by Gowans in the clinches.
Yes, they just kept it alive in their forward line. They just kept the ball out in the open. As we'll get a look at this replay in a minute. You can see just at the end of this, Gowans probably a little bit stiff not to get it in the back. They work the ball forward for Krieg. Daniel Shell gets his third for the day. A couple of simple walking goals, but he's providing a valuable target up forward. Just seem to have the answers at the present Centrals. Every time they're challenged by the Bloods, just seem to have all the answers.
Look at those inside 50s, 31 to Centrals, 30 to West Adelaide, and yet 11-4 plays 5-6, and they'll go forward again, Centrals. Sliding in, Glover did well, came out of there and kicked long. Chubb just kept under the ball nicely by Sivanala, allowed Symes to take the mark, inside 50 with the kick. Chris Gowans with the mark. They'll have players streaming down looking for a short pass, and but for the disposal, that was always going to be a mark. to Centrals. Well, Westie's got away with one there. Radley didn't know Steinburner was coming. He came quickly. Here's Steinford again, no left foot. Check side finds Symes. We'll start again, Centrals.
Dirty day for Shepherd. He's come off the ground down there, Sodas.
Yeah, he has. Ben Dre's had the nose patched up. He's back on the ground, and Peter Shepherd has played full forward, wing, and also deep in defence, so he's having a bit of a messy day.
Tough afternoon for him. Suatalo spent his bit of time on the bench. Up goes Cowan and Shell. They fly together. Howard got it. Ware around the body. Touched, said the umpire. Would have been behind in any case if it had trickled through the big openings. He is very quick, Elijah Ware, and some players just deciding that they want to get to know each other a bit better. And Steinford is looking a bit groggy there, Andrew.
Yes, both Cowans and Shell let him know. Don't back into the pack. Don't come back into my space where I'm leading.
Well, that'd be unfortunate news if he'd had to come off. As we know, there's only one player fit on the bench for West Adelaide as Dre takes the kick in. Norman led hard and took a strong mark. And you can see there the captain, Luke Norman, still wants to go body for body as Steinford makes his way down the far side of the ground. Chadwick, ball just bounced awkwardly for him. Thomas, plenty of pace, little bit of room to move. Down towards half forward looking for Cowan. Backs back, over the top came Prokopek. Dre went towards the boundary, chased by two. Dre takes it across the boundary.
And both those Central Districts forwards, Nick Prokopek and Daniel Shell, if you come back into their space, they're going to let you know, and they don't have no fear or favour in jumping into your back, making you earn it. Pat Steinford can attest to that.
Ball in again. Hassan, champion. Poplisha now with a bit of space, closed down and forced to kick out of bounds on the full. Simon Arnott to take the free kick in the grand final. Last year, Simon Arnott picked up 28 possessions. He's done well this afternoon again.
He's picked up 23 today, Neil.
Thanks for that, Moggy. Ball inside 50, thump to the front. Train got a hand pass out, whack, that was high. Slade, up by Richard Williams coming in and saying ease up. Dion Miles, she's got him wrong footed and went down in a big hurry. Miles comes grandstand side. Brutton was the target, brought it to ground. Chadwick in there, Arnott was with him, and we'll get a bounce down. So Central's well in control of this match. Just a few goals, 3 in this quarter to 2. But they really do have control of the match.
35 points the difference in favour of Centrals. Dabrowski got it down. Crane just knocked it to the line. Another ball in. There's Krieg, the number 8 for the Bulldogs. Starting to stamp his authority as a league footballer. As Cowan has a rest. Miles knocked it down. Thomas, did he have control? Umpire said no. In goes Cochran. They've let it go here, the umpires. The ball squeezes out the back to Mackenzie, who squeezes a kick. Ware was there. Krieg also. Wobbly old kick. Maybe should have used Ware, but decided to go it alone. That wobbly ball out of bounds.
I don't think maybe there, Michael. He definitely should have used Elijah Ware then.
Trying to help him out.
He used his pace, just broken it open, straightened his body. Could have well been another goal for Elijah Ware.
Champion, backhander, Krieg. He's got to screw this round the body. Lovely kick by Krieg. Another goal for the Bulldogs. It's out to that 41 points. It was 41 points the difference at the 2-minute mark. It is now 41 points the difference again.
And who said there's karma in footy? Should have actually given that handball away there to Elijah Ware and had a ping at goal. Here he is, just on the defensive side of the pack. Ball spills loose to him, screws it around the corner. You expect a player at this level to finish with that goal. And as I said, the Doggies just seem to have all of the answers.
Oh yeah, it's like 4 grand final rematches in a row that they're going to win, the Dogs. Good play by Radley off the half back line. Howard shared it with Rusker, looks down forward, leading well was Shepherd. Shepherd taking the mark, just pointed to where he wanted it, found 5 or so metres of space away from Hay and took the easiest of marks. waits and settles himself. From Darwin, kicked 11-5 for the season. Ranked 2 on the goal kickers list in the SANFL. Shepherd from 45 metres, lays back straight. Goal to West Adelaide. And there's still some support out there, but they really are getting a touch up from Centrals at the same time.
They just don't know how to go away, do they, West Adelaide? But a great kick there by Shannon Rusker. And Brad Symes was Peter Shepherd's play then. They took Tom Chadwick off and put Peter Shepherd there, a different type of player. So Brad Symes needs to adjust his game. He's gone from playing on a small roving forward to a marking target, and he can finish Peter Shepherd if he gets an opportunity. It's a very good kick for goal.
3 goals each in this third term. The Shepherd, the kick. I might be wrong with 3 goals each. It's been a good third quarter in any case. Dabrowski out of there, taken by Howard. Over the top, finds Glover. Glover looks for Rutten, just out in front of him. And Rutten, corralling him, was Hereda. He was clever enough to get it to Norman. Norman wants to square it up. Good kick. Hassan at the back. Will he fly? He did. Couldn't take it. Thomas, cool as you like. This is what he loves. A bit of hard work done off the ball. Thomas down the line. Miles should knock it away from Slade. Does. Dabrowski tried to get it to Rusker and lock it up. Well done, Slade. Just to lock it up. Good work, Matthew Slade. There's Sean Wren, and to his left, Wayne Wiedemann. To his right, Wayne Wiedemann, I should say.
Would feel fairly helpless at the moment. They've really tried a few things, limited by the bench, a couple of injuries on the bench. Just don't really see how they're going to force their way back into this game.
Bouncing ball, Bello. Called him much today. Krieg kicked the last goal. Miles really has had to work hard. Rusker just about ran out of real estate there. He's clever enough to get away. And a dangerous kick finds Glover, and Glover repels for the Bloods.
Well, he's had to go 20 metres back to find Glover, and now Glover looks up and there's really everybody's covered, so he plays on. Shadows of the grandstand on this side of the ground, and Dabrowski takes a strong mark opposed to Schooler. Looks inside, nothing much available, so he kicks down long. Chubb was the target. Across the front side, just read it best. Then again, Simonola's work on Chubb gave him a chance to come across the front. And now Richard Williams paying 25 metres against Howard for running over the mark to try and slow things down. So Symes getting run from the back. By off the hide. Off the hide on centre wing. Just pokes it up forward. Prokopek came hard. Took the ball with him, and now we'll get a bounce down at half forward.
It's an emerging player, Brad Symes. Been impressive today on the Port Power list. Has probably had his best game in the since he's come into this Central District side.
6 marks, 11 possessions.
35 points the margin as Miles flicks the hand pass wide. Symptomatic of West Adelaide though this afternoon, that hand pass just into space, hoping for the boundary line at the end.
Yeah, probably that's just the pressure, whether it's perceived pressure or actually pressure that Central District's put on you. They really have had no time at all to use any type of skills.
Schooler brought the ball to the front, Glover and Schooler go at it over the line again, centre wing. So that's sunshine, beautiful afternoon for SANFL football at the Adelaide Oval. Beautiful afternoon if you're a Doggies fan.
Neil, just when we thought that West Adelaide had all the injury problems they could handle, Shannon Rusker's come off the ground with a tight hamstring. He's just being assessed at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see whether he'll be available.
That'd be the full house then, I think.
Well, Mark, you played for a few clubs, Mark. I reckon you look good in a blood jumper.
Boys, I'd last about 10 seconds, I reckon, at the moment. The back at spasm, I'll be carried off in a wheelchair or a stretcher.
Spasms. Howard uses Miles, who kicks to the lead of Shepherd. Chadwick runs onto it, tries to get it to Shepherd. I don't think it was intentional, but it went his way. Ball just shuffled forward and off to Hyde. Sees it out in front of Steinford. Boundary throw in. 24 minutes gone in the third term. 35 points the difference in favour of the reigning premiers. Over the back, Steinford knocked it down. He'll get it again. Somehow squeezed a kick out of the congestion. Arnott couldn't take it on hands and knees. Looked like a throw. And Gowans just has the ball tucked in underneath. Norman has got a fair purchase on him.
22 free kicks given in the first half, 1 this quarter.
Well, Shane Harris has been busy at half-time. Maybe. Good bounce. Hay to Gowans. Intended that to go to probably another 15 metres, and we'll have another ball in.
That's just the experience there of Gowans, just to kick the ball along the boundary, and Marco Bello work the ball over the line. They realise it's late in the quarter, let's not concede anything.
Big pack of players around this ball. Dabrowski, Howard, you'd think with strength he'd get out. Paul Pleasure, quick hands to Norman. Can he screw it back? No. In fact, get any screw on that. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, he screwed it up.
He did. Good point.
We'll wait for the ball to be retrieved from the crowd. Young lad, look 2 or 3 by the looks, trying to hurl the ball back. It'll take him a while. Security guard eventually takes it off and returns the ball.
He's a man with the horn as well. That security guard.
Probably the same guy, yeah. I think it was that end of the ground where they took the mysterious horn blower, or horn off the horn blower.
Horatio.
Here's Thomas. Oh, great kick. Symes in a bit of space. Off to Hay on his left leg. Bang, he goes into centre half forward. Over the back. Well, probably should have taken that Cochrane. Ball on the ground. Quick transference of play again. Central's so direct, so effective.
It's almost like a training drill, that one. All you needed was the cones, and it would have been probably right. But beautiful play. Great kick by Paul Thomas just to open the play up.
Inside forward 50 for Centrals. Cowan takes the ball out of ruck, didn't dispose of it properly. Umpire called play on though. Chadwick taken to ground by Krieg will get another bounce down. And that pressure just builds again for Westies in their defensive area.
And a great learning experience for a number. Tom Chadwick is one for a number of the West Adelaide players being introduced to the side this year.
Miles thumps it away. Did have a couple of players running for him out there. One of them was Glover, gathered the ball, looked up, nothing in front of him to really kick to, so he opts to go back through the centre. Gowans comes in, gets a hand on the ball. Arnott gets more than that. Gives it to Steinberner. Inside, he's got Bello on the left leg. From 50, Bello goes for goal. Just the way to the right.
And usually does finish then. So we get a look at James Gowans actually arguing with the coach. Such is his way. He's very competitive. Sorry, it's Chris Gowans. Really should. Marco Bello really should finish that.
Just his first score of the day. Bello, he's been quiet too. Moggy.
Yes, he just had 3 and 3, Michael.
Glover. Just kicks to a congested forward line. Lovely mark. Good lead by Shepherd. Undoes all the good work. Had the kick smothered. Falls to Dabrowski. Crane doesn't know which way to go. And then kicks into Thomas, and you've just got the feeling that young Crane couldn't work his way through that one.
So that was his first possession.
Good leap by Shepherd. Certainly knows how to take a mark and kick a goal. Hasn't had the best of times today. Ball over the back, poor Pleasure. Good hands. Didn't quite find the target. Now, if that handball had have hit the target, Westies might have been on for goal. But Central Districts, as they do, terrific in the clinches and lock it up at half forward for Westies.
I think that's a better role for Peter Shepherd as a roaming forward. Can't be the key target. Better off as a second or third jumper.
Up goes James Gowans, needs to get rid of it. Ratley threw it on the boot. Shepherd can't take the mark. Swatala has some roving. Good kick, finds Steinberner at half back. Nathan Steinberner been terrific for them today. To relieve the pressure.
Taking his time late in the quarter, 28.5 minutes have ticked by. 36 points the margin. Central's well in control. Off Richardson's hands to the front. Bello slipped a hand past to Krieg, slipped the ball out of there somehow as well. Where Cowan just bumped off Chadwick, but Walker got him. Interesting. Just have another look. I mean, after he's done that and somebody tackles him, you'd think it might be, well, he took him on, didn't he?
This is a prior opportunity, I think, is what the umpire's got to ask himself, and look, probably there was.
Cowan tries to come over the back. Doesn't quite get there. Schooler with hands. Bello received it from Krieg. That was brilliant handball. Up in front of goals again. Prokopek, the ball thumped away from Slade. And on the siren, the kick around the corner. Minor score. Wait on the umpire. And it was a minor score. Came from Cochrane around the corner. So 3/4 time. As I said, Central District well in control. 12-7-79. West Adelaide 6-6-42. All to do. West Adelaide in the final term.
They certainly have, and I came here today with a need for Central Districts to reassert their supremacy over the competition. They certainly have. They fell away last week against the Eagles as far as the intensity around the footy. Today they've improved, they've kept it up for 3/4. They really have given the Bloods a lesson in how to play top-class, finals-type football. They've been at them all day. Unfortunately, under pressure, some of the West Adelaide lesser lights have been found wanting, and they really haven't been able to move the ball quickly. Hence, the inside 50s are very even, but they haven't moved the ball quickly to their key forwards.
And speaking of the score, let's have a look at that. 4 goals to 3 in that term. A better performance by West Adelaide, but really the damage is slowly being done by Centrals, and death by 1,000 cuts in many ways.
Yeah. As we get a look at the goal kickers, Daniel Shields been a key forward with 3 goals, Gowans and Prokopek with 2 each, and the only multiple goal kicker for West Adelaide is Howard with 2.
And the stats, as you said, inside 50 is the interesting one. 38 plays 35 in favour of Centrals, but just so much more effective.
They moved the ball beautifully. We saw a number of passages of play in that quarter where they moved it beautifully out of the fence, switched the play, took a risk coming out of the back line. 2 kicks and it was at full forward, plenty of space for their forwards to work into, and they really have given them a lesson in how to play finals type football today.
Well, a lot of work ahead of the West Adelaide boys, and one person who's put in a lot of work for West Adelaide to get to play is Andrew Crowell. And Andrew played last season with Central District, or rather, sorry, the Eagles, try that, moved clubs to West Adelaide. You still haven't played yet, Andrew?
No, yet to play at this stage. Looking forward to it though. It's pretty frustrating being in the grandstand and seeing the boys go down like they are today. So it'd be nice to be out there.
Look, you've undergone a knee reconstruction and then you choose to swap clubs. What's behind that?
Yeah, it was just a time for a new change. I was delisted by the Crows, obviously, and I just thought that I needed to move on and start afresh, and that's the way we went. And Rennie had a good chat to me, and he's a bloke that I played footy with at the Crows and got to know pretty well, so it's just good to get there and help Rennie out.
And Andrew Rogers here, former captain of the Eagles. Is there any animosity between the Eagles and yourself, or is it purely just a fresh start?
How are you, Bucky? You all right, mate?
Yeah, good.
That's all right. No, it's just a fresh start, mate. I've been away from the Eagles for 4 years now, and I suppose I was used at the Crows and at the Eagles as a bit of a patch-up player, so I'm sort of hoping to get a bit better role than that at Westies, and we'll go from there.
And how long before you'll actually hit the track for Westies?
It's very frustrating, but I'm looking at starting or playing round 10, which is the bye, so we'll have to make it round 11. I'll hopefully start training flat out in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, we're just looking at the West Adelaide huddle now, and Sean Wren, look, you've mentioned that you've obviously got a good relationship with Sean. He's looking forward, no doubt, to getting you on the track, and given the number of injuries, I'm sure he'd like to see you out there.
Yeah, we had our pre-season we interrupted a bit with injury, and we didn't really get our best side on the track until a couple of weeks before the actual season started. So it's not a good sign to see a couple of boys go down again today. Pierre Sandy's very important to us, and who's the other one? And Ash Westbrook. He's been pretty much the bloke we didn't really expect to get back at the club, and he's been awesome this year for us, and it's a disappointment to see him out.
And Andrew, you say you're a bits part player. Where do you think your best position is?
Well, hopefully I'd like to get an on-ball sort of role, just maybe on a wing or something like that, or in the centre. We try to have our biggest, strongest blokes in the middle to win the ball out there, so if I can get a role in the middle, it'd be nice. Well,
Sean Wren's been talking to his players, as we said. Mark Soderstrom has been listening while we've been talking to Andrew Crowell. Soders, what's the story?
Well, Neil, Sean Wren is very, very quiet. He won't allow us to put the microphone in there, so we can't really get into what he has been saying, but he's held the stat sheet up and he said to the boys, look, that quarter we were back, we matched them, and it was a reasonably even quarter, but really the damage has been done. It's going to be very tough for West Adelaide from here. The big problem really has been shutting down the Central District's midfield, and noticing last week, Andrew, the Eagles were very good at shutting down Central District. It just appears today West Adelaide have struggled in that area.
It does. It looks like they're running a lot more. When the ball hits their centre-half forward, they've got Crummers there to take the ball off, and when it hits our centre-half forward, Central's boys are getting there before our lads, so we need to pick up in that area for sure.
And Andrew, talk there, Sean Wren talking quietly to his players. It wouldn't be like, start a fight.
I don't think so. I haven't heard Rennie say anything like that so far. He's a sneaky old bloke, Rennie, so he could have been saying anything. I won't give too much away though.
Well, look, thanks for your time. Fantastic to join us, and good luck getting back on the park. I'm sure you're looking forward to having a run.
Very anxious, mate. I can't wait to get out there. Great.
Andrew Cowell joining us on the road back from a knee reconstruction. It must be horrible. I can't imagine what it's like, and I don't ever want to know exactly what it's like. We'll look forward to next week while we can, and we're going out to Central District to watch Centrals against Sturt. Sturt coming off a loss. Central's, coming off a loss now, and they'll be coming off a win, you would think, going into that match. Eagles up against North Adelaide. Two sides in very, very good form at the moment. Glenelg, Port, and then South and Nord. And time to join Sodas back down there with Michael Flynn.
Yeah, Flinny, pretty disappointing day so far, but you did match them that quarter?
Yeah, look, they've just outplayed us a bit around the midfield and getting the ball on turnovers. Centrals are the best at doing it, and we haven't been able to counter-attack at all.
And what was Sean's comments during the break there?
He just wanted to play at the quarter, worry about the quarter alone, and actually persevere and actually go about it the way we want to play so that we can actually learn from it.
All right, Flinny, I'll make sure that I can find a razor for you as well. Off to Michael Maney.
Thanks, Mark. Good work down on the boundary. Interesting to hear from Andrew Crowell. They will need him, and West Adelaide need the bye, I think, and that's what they get next week. Some of those injured players may be back on track in a couple of weeks' time. Last quarter about to get underway. A 37-point lead to the Bulldogs. Can West Adelaide make a fist of it in the last quarter? Mackenzie, toe poke. In goes Chadwick, locked up by Swatala. Another bounce.
And I really think the message from both coaches there at three-quarter time would have been, look, let's try to win the last quarter. For a Central District, Troy Laird, look, let's demolish them in the last quarter. For West Adelaide, Sean Wren, look, let's at least win the last quarter.
That would be the word, you would imagine. Slade, he and Hassan have had an absorbing battle all day in Moggridge.
They have Matthew Slade 7 possessions, 2 and 5. Salim Hassan's had 12, 11 and 1.
Nullified each other reasonably well, you'd have to say. Umpire Richard Williams just laying down the law. Free kick to Hassan for maybe another over-the-shoulder infringement. Tim Ginniver, if you're listening, he's got another one. Taken by Walker. Walker kicks toward half forward. Shepherd couldn't take the mark. Well done, Steinburner. Got a toe poke on it. Symes, Shepherd comes back again. Well done, Howard. Quick give this time to Chubb. He's got to get around some difficult traffic, Chubb. Does so. Got it to Porplesia. Porplesia kicks it long and off the height. Couldn't take it. Rutten, Maybridge for his first goal. And Westie's first of this final term. And Ben Rutten slots through goal number 1 for him. And Sean Wren would be happy with the first score of the final term.
And just some respectability coming back into this thing, so we can see it get forward. After Heidi just lets this one get behind, was a relatively easy mark, and Ben Rutten just cleans it up nicely. So that's exactly what Sean Wren would have been talking about at three-quarter time. Look, that's 1 goal in the bank. Let's go and get the next one. Let's see if we can get consecutive goals and breathe some life back into this contest.
Well, it would be nice if they get 5 more consecutive goals, I'd imagine, if you're Sean Wren. It'd help out in a big way. Margin 31 points. Arnott, Slade, just into a little ball straight away. Knew he had pressure behind him.
That was possession number 27 for Simon Arnott. 15 kicks and 12 handballs. He's had 9 more possessions than anyone else on the ground.
Very prolific at working at the back of the pack. You see just off to the left of Steinberger there behind the pack. That's where Arnott's sitting. Ball goes forward. Centrals will work it through. Down to half forward, and look at that, a mark, under pressure, Prokopek, and that's the difference between the sides. Swatala delivering the ball into half forward. And Prokopek in the middle of a pack taking a contested mark, and that's just so easy for Central District when you've got those key forwards. And in the past, Andrew, they haven't had those key forwards standing up like they have now.
No, they haven't. They generally kicked to a contest, but importantly brought it back into the centre corridor. And generally it was just a one-on-one contest, or very much at least a two-on-two contest. So they know they're going to get a contest. If they don't mark it, they bring it front and centre for their crummers.
Prokopek already has 2 this afternoon. As you see, very studied kick and very effective. He has 3.
And if he stays sound, he keeps uninjured and keeps his form going, he's going to be a very important ingredient in this side. See, he just works his way to the front, a push of sorts there on Ed Richardson. Big, strong hands. The West Adelaide opponent behind needs to understand that if his bloke goes, weight champion being played out of position, if your bloke goes, you must compete in the air. And he pays the penalty there with Nick Prokopek kicking this goal.
He has got one of the best styles of a kick for goal we've seen in this NFL football for a while, Prokopek.
He's a thumper kick.
Hassan kicks it forward for West Adelaide. Dabrowski, who really hasn't done too much, has laid it off, looking for Howard. He's dispossessed. Taken by Symes, good vision. Handball over the top to Thomas, to Hay. That back line of Central District is absolutely on top this afternoon. James Gowans from half back. Slade.
Back one now, back one.
The man on the mark. Another short kick as they switch to Hay. In a bit of space, Watala. Hay's kick sold him into all sorts of trouble. Well done by Chadwick. Chadwick kicks it long. Rutten's got to go. And he'll be paid the mark, man in front.
No, he won't.
Slade.
Okay. Taken by James Gowans to Arnott. He's a bit unlucky there, Rutten. Arnott kicks to half back, just to a contest. In goes Gowans. Ratley. Steinberner works into the boundary line. Ball in. What do you think about that one?
Just Slade at first grab, but Rutten took it out of his hands. But interesting is that where's Salam Hassan now going to Simon Arnott and trying to quell his... Look, he's done the job on Matty Slade. Perhaps you could have swung him over to Simon Arnott.
There he is again, the number 18. Misses Glover with the handball. And out it goes again. 37 points the difference in favour of Central District.
The boundary umpire hurls the ball back into play. Again, Central's from that dead ball situation, taking it away. One of the greatest of kicks by Chris Gowans. Glover with the mark. In front of the Victor Richardson gates out there on the far side of the ground. And the new chapel stands. Chips it in. Oh, bad kick. Oh, Chubb made it look pretty good. Or at least he held it there. Here's Howard. Slips out a hand pass to Norman. Norman can't get around, in the end dropped the ball. McKenzie did well, the big guy. Here's Chris Gowans, off the left foot. Steinberner got his player away from the ball. Cowan came in, surrounded by West Adelaide players, pulled it in, I thought. Miles ends up with it. Looks for Prokopek. Prokopek in turn, off the left foot, not the greatest of kicks. Chadwick wasn't expecting it to drop as a result. Mark taken for Central's bus with Tala down towards half forward. On the lead, Shell. Oh. Gee, midway through that, Shell looked like he was in a lot of trouble in trying to find a landing spot. Got out of it okay.
Has caused Ed Richardson plenty of troubles today. It's in good form.
Just smacks the ball in long, great mark. The stretch from Cowan, pulled it in. And he'll line up for goal. 45-degree angle, will kick from perhaps 40 metres.
Luke Cowan's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? He's a very good player. Every now and then you see him do something sensational. He just doesn't do it consistently enough.
Just drifts out of the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just needs to provide a four-quarter effort. Now, whether it's his laconic nature or whether he just doesn't work hard enough.
Just looks good when he does things like that, though. What's his kick like? Probably put the mockers on him. Oh, starts it out to the right, or to the left, sorry, and stays left. And we did put the mockers on him. Well done.
And they have got, as you said, with Nick Prokopec, Daniel Schell and Luke Cowans, they have got a number of key forwards to go to for the first time in 3 or 4 years. So all goes well for Central Districts come finals time.
Short kick out by Howard, finds Miles. And what has he got in front of him? Giving him something short is Glover. Good kick. Good presentation by Ross Glover. Goes long. Hassan's going to fly from the front. Symes, 1 grab, 2 grab. Umpire said play on. Umpire right on the ball there.
We're going to look and see how much he's on the ball here. I'd say that's hit Brad Symes in the head and then he's got the second grab. So I think he's a bit stiff.
Tough one to judge. Steinfort down, brilliantly rode by Paul Pleasure. Paul Pleasure kicks up. Rutten's got to back into all sorts of difficulty. Lovely mark taken by Hay at the back. Good foot disposal finds Thomas. Thomas drills down the line. But Andre backed himself, dishes off to Howard, uses that left boot. We see him turn on his left a lot to Norman. Inches inside the playing arena. Scott Shepherd hollering for it in the square, so he kicks it long. Shepherd and Hay. Shepherd couldn't take it. Off the high, did well. Ran over the football. Rutten for his second for the turn. Good work by Ben Rutten. Off the hide. Didn't take the ball with him. Rutten just kicked the goal.
And it's one of the first times today we've seen Peter Shepherd. He was arms in the air screaming for the footy. Goes a one-on-one with Todd, and there's fallen beautifully there front and centre. Off to Heidi read it better. Unfortunately left the ball behind. Ben Rutten gets his second for the term, so a good move there by Sean Wren to push him to full forward. And so far they've won this quarter. They need to just continue, and I'm sure they will. Such is Sean Wren's way.
Back in the middle. We're in the 10th minute of this final term. And every time Westies have produced something this afternoon, Centrals have been able to answer. Centrals have won 7 of the past 8 contests against West Adelaide and 10 of the past 12. So they've really had the answer for Sean Wren's men. Leaning back in the coaching box. All the ground again. Chadwick did well, slipped down a hand pass to Glover. Running forward was Hassan. Great kick. Shepherd came on the lead, found a bit of space in front of Hay, and will line up for goal from about 40 metres out, straight in front. Shouldn't have any problems, you would think. Plays back. Nothing like putting the knockers on him.
Just didn't really kick through the footy, but a wonderful kick by Salam Hassan. One of the hardest kicks, had to kick it across his body to one of the Peter Shepherd lead. And he really should have finished that. He probably needs to have the same stepping system and the same systematic system from when he's inside 50 to outside 50.
Good kick by Hay, fine Steinburner, and just kicked down the line, looking for where taken across. A bit of work by Dre. Good tackle, right at the hips. Needs a bit of space sometimes where, well done by Dre to close him down. Over the top, Miles. Sean Wren does love that extra man going up in the ruck contest. Shane Tuck did it so beautifully last year. Taken by Shepherd. Thought about going short. Free kick off the ball, went to Glover, and left to come back. And Glover will get the free kick. Now, I don't know why that's got to come back.
No advantage.
I'd suspect it would have been an advantage. I think Bratton would have liked a one-on-one contest against the Otahuati, where now all of a sudden it's a turnover.
And another one. Shepherd's kick was terrible. Thomas. Looks for Cowan. He's got inside running for him, Chris Gowans. And the spear to Prokopec. Inches off the ground. Good lead. And a good snabble from there, Andrew.
Yeah, he's very agile, but once again, great play by Chris Gowans. He realised that the ball was going to drop short. Worked to the eyes of Luke Cowans, where he could give an easy give, controlled left foot kick. Yeah, Nick Prokopec kicks this one, has a very nice day.
Love his preparation and to kick a goal, Prokopec.
And being a full forward, he should have something in his system and should have a ritual that he goes through every time he kicks a goal.
He'll kick this, no problem at all. Goal number 3 to the spearhead, Nick Prokopec. Has he got 4? I'd say he's got 4. Thanks, Neil.
And there's Chris Gowans working into the eyes of Luke Howes, and a nice chip pass. Not much that Wade Champion can do about that. And he is a very good kick for goal. He's Nick Prokopek, and as I said, if he can keep himself sound and in good form, he's likely to kick a bag full this year for the Doggies.
Well, Central chart vaguely starting to start up in the background. Getting a midway stage of this final term. Bob Quinn medal, of course, up for grabs. Bob Quinn served from 1942 to 44 in the Army and won the military medal for bravery in Tobruk, and also played in 3 premierships with Port Adelaide. Be very interesting how you separate so many good performances by Central's players this afternoon. As the ball is at half forward again for Central. Slade emerging, hands the ball over. Andrew, your thoughts? You'll be the one doing all the presenting.
Oh, it's a tough ask, isn't it? Probably Simon Arnott's in front, but interesting, they really have done it with very little input from Marco Bello and Matty Slade, so there is improvement in them.
Now Miles got the benefit of some good work off the ball. What happened then was Miles blocked Cowan, who was looking to come in over the top, and now Central's out of all that though and managed to go forward. Chris Gowans kicks a goal! Oh yes!
Starting to turn into party time here now. You can see Chris Gowan sitting forward of the football and relying on his Central District's teammates to win it for him. And there's Marco Bello just controlling things. There's Chris Gowan, just worked his way into space on the outer side, and he can finish. And he gets a thing. So we were talking about West Adelaide winning in the quarter only 5 minutes ago. Now they find themselves staring down the barrel of 4 one-quarter losses.
Biggest lead so far in this match, 43 points.
Chris Gowans, 15 kicks, 4 handballs today. James had 14 and 8.
A couple of goals too to Chris Gowans. Bello, kick out, looking for James Gowans. Walker there with Slade, free kick. It'll go to Walker, being held on to.
41. Hasn't been West Adelaide's worst player today, Shane Walker. He's committed well, just needs to tidy up a little things around his disposal.
Not much of him, but he certainly gives plenty. Steinfurt just ran under the football, roving it well. Driving it down was Prokopek. Bouncing ball. Run Walker saves the day. He's got Champion short at half back. Looks further afield. Maybe go to Steinfurt. He'll go shorter than that and go to Miles. Just took the mark inches above the turf. The magnificent turf here at the Adelaide Oval.
Dion Miles, the leading ball getter for the Bloods today, 9 marks and 21 possessions.
It's about their best player. Long kick, Rutten under the football. Read by Dabrowski. Sweeping handball over the top to Hassan. Chubb was in short. He runs inside 50. Hassan sizes it up and goes long and kicks a goal. On the rebound, the Bloods get one. Salim Hassan, it's his first for the afternoon. 18 possessions last week, not so many this week. Lovely goal.
Almost, Michael, 17.
Yes, and we worked well. And you can see, once again, sitting forward of the play. As the game goes on, players get tired. The game has really opened up here. Well done, Brad Dabrowski, to get that long forward handball. And Salim Hassan just took his time, put some quick steps in early to give himself some time, balanced nicely, finishes with a nice goal. Just probably could have been used earlier, released from the Matty Slade tape.
Well, Hassan wasted an opportunity just before half-time by playing on, and just before that had also played on and been tackled and scored a minor score, so he hasn't had the greatest of afternoons, but at least he's got a goal now. Here's Miles, who started that last forward foray for West Adelaide, just drives it out of defence towards Hassan. Bello was good, and they share the ball to Ware, and inside 50 he finds Cowan. Simple as that. They work so well together. And Centrals will get an answering goal, or at least an opportunity for an answering goal through Cowan.
And importantly, in the centre corridor again, and good skills by Elijah Ware. As I said, once again, we've had a taste of Luke Cowans today. Would like him to do it over a consistent 4 quarters.
Cowan, see there, just lays back. That's a much better kick than his last effort. No mistake about that. 17.5-minute mark, and Centrals are 43 points in the lead.
And we're going to work it well, and Elijah Ware has been impressive again today. And Luke Cowan's in space. Dylan Miles unfortunately had kicked the ball out. Probably Marston had the better of Luke Cowans today, but a wonderful kick. And finishes with his second for the day, and he really has, you know, as I said, once again, he gives you a taste. Just like to see him do it over 4 quarters.
At 43-point margin as Central's hit the century mark. 16-8, 104. 9-7, 61, back in the middle. Taken by Glover. Hooks it back, Norman thumps it on. Dabrowski leads in the race. Herrera's got him collared. Now he's got to let go of him. Thought he held on too long. Cochrane did well. Symes squeezes out the handball. Gowans threw it on the boot. Ware. Well done, Norman. Just got through. Glover off balance, got it to poor Pleasure. He just hacks it forward. Marked by Tommy Chadwick. Chadwick's got a man loose inside 50 in Hassan. Run forward, Herrera couldn't do anything about it. Decides to chip short. Poor Pleasure, full stretch. Couldn't take it, get a free kick. Or is it Ruska? It is. Pleasure was somewhere thereabouts. In fact, he's back in the middle, so that's how well I'm going. Ruska will kick from 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. And he's been their worst today. He's kicked 1 goal, the 3rd term. Sits it up, it's gone across the face, they fly. Right across the top, hit the post, off the hands, onto the post, boundary throwing. Brilliant day at the Adelaide Oval, 6,251 in attendance. Last year, Neil, about 8,000 turned up, so a little bit down on last year. Play going nowhere. Norman over it. Symes can't get through. Bit ugly in there. Umpire will clear it out with a bounce.
It's just looking at my figures, 8,694 last season. 6,251 ventured to the Adelaide Oval this afternoon. They're watching Centrals remind everybody why they are the favourites for their 4th flag in 5 years and their 5th grand final appearance in 5 years. Steinford picks up the loose ball around the corner, high, wide, and not that wide. He'll get a minor score at least. West Adelaide just moving by ones at the moment.
Kick out, finds Symes. Long kick down the wing, good mark McKenzie. Over Ratley. Short kick in, looking for Cowan at his bootlaces. Well played, Richardson. Knocked it only as far as Bellow. Bellow goes in short. Shell, plenty of room. Over the top, Ware. Further on, bounces for James Gowans. The handball over to Chris Gowans. Just ducks around, casual as you like. Goal number 3 to Chris Gowans. As they celebrate, 21 minutes gone, 110 plays 62.
Oh, Sean Wren, Mark Soderstrom would not be happy with that.
No, I don't think Rennie's a very happy man at all, and I think West Adelaide boys are going to be in for one hell of talking down after the game, Neil.
Talking down, gee. That's being very kind, I guess. There's the ball back in the middle. Chris Gowans with 3 goals this afternoon. We're into time on. West Adelaide have come up short again against Centrals. Dabrowski looking for Hassan. Slade tracked him. Just got the ball quickly on the boot. Clever. Krieg down towards half forward. Prokopek will fly. Champion with the punch. McKenzie was strong with the bump, then picked up the ball. Gowans flanking inside Krieg. Krieg looks towards full forward, just props it up. In front was Schooler, couldn't take it. Dre, good pressure. A lot of players on the ground. Walker tried to fight his way through, he's in trouble. Still it's play on. Centrals win it in the clinches, and eventually it comes to Daniel Shell. No problems for Daniel Shell. Another goal for Central District. Let's have another look. Just that struggle around goals, and Walker unable to get out of there. Shell just got on the end of an easy hand pass into an open goal, and it's just too easy for Central's finishing the afternoon.
Fourth goal.
Margin just blowing out all the time.
Fourth goal to Daniel Shell, 4-2. Good afternoon for him. Brilliant afternoon for the Bulldogs. They're out to 54 points. They have stopped West Adelaide today, that is for sure. Hassan, his kick out wide. Ruska waits for it to sit, got it to Glover, quick hands to foot, looking for Rutten. Clean bowls him and Sibonala. Rutten did well, got it back over the top, looking for Hassan, and Sibonala takes it across the line, boundary throw in. Out of ideas, I'd say, at the moment, both Wayne Wiedemann and Sean Wren. Just let it play it out. McKenzie couldn't hook it in. Cochrane to Symes, who really has been a terrific player for them, to Ware, whose kick didn't quite find Cowan. Good enough to lay it off to Chris Gowans. Looked for James, went past him. Prokopek dishes off to James Gowans. Free kick, advantage roll to Bello, who burns them off and kicks from behind. From about 25 metres, Marco Bello, you just about pencil that one in, Neil Cross, for a goal, but Bello just missing.
Yes, disappointing really for Bello, but disappointing for the Central's fans. But that's about it really, because it's, you know, it's all over as a contest, isn't it? Just players racking up possessions now. As Porplisha, they go through the middle, and that helps. They haven't been able to do that often enough and directly enough. West Adelaide, more often than not, this has happened. Just scramble the ball out of their Centrals. Chadwick taking the mark. Rutten is wide. That's the target. Rutten leaves it in the end. Ruska working against two. Swatala was too good. Just ran out of real estate to work with. Ball over the line, centre wing. Anzac Day holiday match has been dominated by Central District. It's the fourth straight Anzac Day or Anzac Day holiday win. And they beat Woodville West Torrens by 16 points. Then beat the Eagles a year later by 70 points. And last year it was Sturt's turn to cop a hammering. They won that one by 32 points. Central's hasn't lost two in a row since round 13 and 14 of 2001, so it's a proud record, and it's an indication of how this club has dominated the SANFL competition in the past 4 years.
I have to hark back to round 4 of last year, 70-point thumping by Centrals of West Adelaide, and they've given them another thumping here today, and plenty for the Bloods to think about.
It was a match which really told the Bloods how far they'd have to go in order to match it with Centrals, and of course we know that ultimately they did do all right. Here's Howard swinging around, he's done all right. So late goal for the Bloods. Howard has his third of the afternoon. I would venture to say, Moggy, not a lot of possessions for Dean Howard.
He's had 19, Neil, 9 kicks, 10 handballs. The fellow that gave it to him is the leading one for West now. Ross Glover's had 23 possessions.
Goal that by Dean Howard, who last week 25 possessions, 10 marks, and he was the best against Port Adelaide in a win that they, most of the tipsters got it wrong, myself included, but I can't talk. Shocking this year. Central's 117 to 68 to 59 points. The dying moments of this final term. Back in the centre, Bello tries to go through, Glover missed it, Chadwick cleans it up, Porplisha just at his bootlaces, we know he's good there, the kick forward, Rutten's going to fly, no, left it for Ruska, that's the second time those two have done the same. Ruska's got plenty of pace, burns off Symes, and I think it's come off Symes' boot, and will go to Ruska, out of bounds on the full. Here it comes. Just through the legs, and unfortunately Symes just got it on the tip of the boot. Now Ruska would take an enormous kick to kick it from here. He'll kick from 45, the most difficult angle, and goes short to Bello. Not intentionally, of course. Looking for Chadwick, the kick not good. Bello finds Swatala, who's been out of a bit of form. The handball over the top to Cochrane, well done by Crane. Hasn't shown us too much of his skill today, Ryan Crane. Another ball up. He's been it on off the bench too.
Unfortunately, no effective possessions at all.
Ruckman just leave it for each other. And a lot of tired bodies out there. And a wonderful day for the Bulldogs. Their unbeaten Anzac Day game record is intact. They'll win 4 in a row. Or is this 5-0? This will be 4. Howard underneath a crunching tackle by Mackenzie. A perfect day. The Adelaide Oval, just a sensational venue. Be it cricket, football, rugby union. Wonderful surface. A credit to the Saka. And we'll have about our 4th bounce in about 30 seconds. There's Swatala. Players just going through the motions. If you want to buy a copy of this, all you Bulldog fans would love a copy of this. Phone 0883434601 during office hours. And it will be yours. Mackenzie, just a short kick to the line and a boundary throw in. If you're a Bulldog supporter, Neil, you'd love a copy of this match.
Actually, there's a few matches that we've covered in the last 4 years that I reckon the Bulldog supporters would have copies of. They've had a real purple patch. Here's Chris Gowans, short. That time Cowan unable to stretch out. It's been a good battle, Cowan versus Miles. Ian Moggridge will give us the stats on both players.
Yes, I will, Neil. Luke Cowan's had 7 possessions and 4 marks. Dion Miles had 9 marks and 22 possessions.
Miles running off. You would imagine a little bit more mobile than Cowan, but Cowan has provided a target for Centrals. Here's Cochrane, just up high. Oh, James Gowans, well, I thought he marked that, just came from behind, back to Krieg and turn, Prokopek, another goal! Well, just finishing the job, Prokopek, and that's a handful he's got this afternoon. 5 for Prokopek. That man there would be very satisfied. And somewhere in there, was that a siren? No, we're still uncertain about this siren and horns, and regardless, the match might as well be all over. We've gone a tick over 30 minutes as we have a look again. Gowans controlled that brilliantly, and Prokopek just got on the end of it for his 5th goal of the afternoon, and Centrals have kicked 19 goals this afternoon.
Good effort by Prokopek, doesn't miss too many. His second 5-goal plus haul in league footy. Hassan kicks it forward, Symes leads Ruska. He's took him to ground. And another ball up. Top exhibition of football. They are a major threat for the 2004 flag, are Centrals. The team to beat in 2004, that's for sure. Mackenzie, who's been impressive coming back into the side today in the ruck. Well done, Swatala. To Ware, who continues to impress. Slade, juggling act, party trick. Couldn't quite hold on, well done. Kicked it forward, looking for Cowan. Richardson came from behind. The soccer from James Gowans, not intentionally, finds the line. Left forward pocket for West Adelaide. There's Roy Laird, got to be happy.
Never happy.
Well, inside I think he's partying.
That's right.
But on the outside, let's keep a lid on it. Boundary throw in. Chris Gowans did the rock work looking for James Gowans. And I think that is the siren. There were a lot of noises this afternoon. But that is the final siren. Central District, comprehensive winners here at the Adelaide Oval. Brilliant performance. There's Chris Gowans. They shake hands, Dean Howard. Chris Gowans, terrific player. Marco Bello in the middle, Matthew Slade. Brilliant exhibition of football. Centrals 19-9-123 have defeated West Adelaide 10 goals, 8-68 in front of a crowd this afternoon on the Anzac Day holiday of 6,251.
Yeah, 55-point margin, and they really were impressive, Central District. And again, they've shown just why they are the club to beat in 2004. And of course, they were the club to beat really for the past few years. As we look at Ben Rutten, would have been disappointed with probably the service he got from his teammates. And then there, Brad Symes coming into his own for Central District. Some stats from Ian Mogridge on a couple of leading stat gatherers from both sides.
Yep, we can do that for the Bloods first of all. Dion Miles had 22, Ross Glover had 23 and Salim Hassan 21. For the Bulldogs, James Gowans and Simon Arnott both had 28 possessions. Chris Gowans had 23 and Elijah Ware had 22.
Yeah, so overall possessions would have been no doubt dominated by the Bulldogs. And Mark Soderstrom is with Katsu's number Sodas, one of the Gowans brothers.
Well, Neil, I have checked the number and it's definitely James Gowans. Mate, after last week, disappointing against the Eagles, good determined effort today.
Yeah, well, the boys, we battled last week. All credit to the Eagles, they had a real crack at us and yeah, we turned it around. Everyone had a real dip today and it was good.
And you just showed your unselfish nature by giving your brother a goal just by the end there.
You know, help him out, mate. He helps me out, so it's just got to go both ways.
And how do you assess the season so far, mate? You're 3-1. The loss last week, but are you happy with where things are at?
Yeah, look, we're going all right this year. We're, you know, we lost a few in the draft, not as many as Westies, but you know, got a lot of the young blokes stepping up again, and yeah, we'll be thereabouts again this year. Just got to keep our fitness up and go all right.
And today it appeared as though you had control for most of the day. Did it feel like that out on the ground?
Yeah, the first quarter was always you know, a bit either way, but once we got in that second quarter, we sort of broke away, and you know, the boys had a real dip today. We built ourselves up for it, and yeah, come away with the result, which is good.
Nick Prokopec, 5 goals. He looks like he's been a real find for you this year.
Yeah, look, he's kicked a bag of goals last year in the twos, and you know, the boys had to select him in the end, and he's all credit to him. He's taken his chance.
Well, mate, congratulations on your form today, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks, Sodas. You're a good man, mate.
Off to Andrew Rogers.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's Anzac weekend match between Central Districts and West Adelaide marks the third occasion where the best on ground from today's match will be awarded the Bob Quinn Medal. The SANFL has seen fit to strike a medal in Bob's name in light of Bob's outstanding football record in the SANFL competition, pre and post World War II, and in recognition of his military service. Some quick detail on Bob Quinn's careers. He played between 1933 and 1942, 1938 and 1945 Magarey medalist, 3-time state captain, kicked 386 goals from 239 games for his beloved Port Adelaide, 3 times a premiership player, 4 times best and fairest, twice leading goal kicker, 5 years captain, and in 1996 was inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame. He fought for his country between 1942 and 1944 and was awarded the Military Medal for Bravery in Trabuc. He epitomises everything today is about. I would like you to put your hands together for Bob's son Greg Quinn as he comes forward to present the medal on behalf of his father and the Quinn family. And the winner of the 2004 Bob Quinn Medal, 2 years in a row, is number 16 from Central Districts, Paul Thomas.
Well done, mate. Congratulations again. My son Mitchell. Hey, Mitchell. Thomas. Well done, mate. Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, can't do any worse than last year. Copped a bit of stick from Slatey through the week. I'd just like to thank the Quinn family for donating the award, and obviously the man was a fantastic footballer and a fantastic man. Just the boys are fantastic today. To win a game against the previous grand finalists takes a 21 effort, and it's just fantastic to win this again. Once was speechless, and this year is fantastic.
Congratulations, Paul. This year we have also the inaugural presentation of the Anzac Day Battle Cup, which will be awarded to the winner of the Anzac Day match every year. I would like to invite forward Simon Romanick from the SA Brewing to present the Anzac Day Battle Cup to the captain of Central Districts, Nathan Steinburner.
Just like to thank Westies. They're a great team, and we always have good matches against them. To our guys, well done. Our intensity didn't drop today, and just like to thank all the supporters too. It's great to see so many here on a Monday. Thanks a lot.
So, thank you for supporting local footy and hope to see you next week.
So Nathan Steinburner just taking away the cup, would be very, very, very happy with his side's performance this afternoon. As we just get a look at some of the highlights this afternoon of Paul Thomas. Last season he won the Bob Quinn medal with 20 possessions, and he got 3 votes in the McGarry medal out of the Anzac Day match. This afternoon, 14 kicks and 2 handballs, and Salam Hassan didn't know he was there on that occasion. That was just before half-time. Running off the half-back line, Paul Thomas, quite brilliant. His father, Jamie, played 124 matches for Central District, and he's continuing in the tradition. So seeing there with ABC Radio's Peter Walsh, just to the corner of the screen. And Paul Thomas would be a very, very happy man with that performance, and almost bashful in the way that he accepted the award, as he was last year. A little bit surprised at being given such an honour. But Central's again proving that they are the team to beat. In 2004 with a comprehensive victory this afternoon by 55 points. Rich Watala, limited time on the ground this afternoon, and Elijah Ware, very impressive, as was Simon Arnott, who perhaps could have racked up 30-plus possessions this afternoon if he'd actually stayed on the ground. Ian Mogridge, what did he finish with?
Yes, he had 28, same as James Gowns, both 16 kicks, 12 handballs.
And Central's very effective across all lines. I wouldn't have thought they would have lost too many positions this afternoon. They were very dominant, as we'll just go through just how dominant as we look at some of the highlights of the match. And Dean Howard, always tough and over the ball. Andrew Rogers is back with us up here in the commentary position. And Central's overall just such a very, very good side. Next week they'll take on Sturt. And I think Michael Maney mentioned during the call, West Adelaide will have a bye next week, and they'll need a bye to get over some of the injuries and some of the hammering they took this afternoon.
Yeah, certainly they are the walking wounded. They have got a number of players who would be under an injury cloud next week, so it gives them an extra week to get over it. But you just wonder about how much mentally this gets to them. They really threw everything at Central's early, and Central's just spat it back at them and gave it with interest.
Well, you talk about that mentally. There's a blueprint for this, of course, 2 years ago with Sturt. They were really hammered by Centrals a couple of times during the year. Come the grand final, it all clicked on the right day.
Yeah, certainly. I think that the Dogs learned a lot from that, though. They had a very interrupted program as they went into the finals that year, and they just they didn't play a lot of football, and it didn't really pay them any dividends in the grand final. So I just suspect they would be a little bit smarter about the way they train their players as they come in towards the finals, and just their ball movement today was probably as good as I've seen in this AFL.
Found a forward there in Prokopek, haven't they?
They certainly have, working well with Cowans and Shell, and they still did. They had a consistent effort from a number of players. They still had a few players that were down a bit, so there's certainly still some improvement.
And Westies, what have they got to look forward to here? I guess they'll just have to gather themselves, and we know they'll work hard.
Oh, they're a very honest side. I mean, that's something that Sean Will has drilled into them. They will persist all day, and as I said, they're very honest, and they'll rebound from this. They'll certainly need to learn from it. Some of their players will be better for the contest today, and will have learnt a lot from the pressure that the Central District's players put on them. And as I said, I just think they'll be around the mark come finals time.
Roy Ladd's all right as a coach, isn't he?
Look, he's very much just putting the cream on top of the cake. He inherited a very good football side, built up over, they say, from Alan Stewart's days in 1995, 96 through to Peter Jonas and then Alistair Clarkson, and then Roy Ladd eventually. So they've just a super side, built up a group of 20, 25, 26-year-olds, very highly skilled.
You've got a fair bit to go to win a premiership, but they certainly, I would think, are the favourites as we look at that full-time score. The margin throughout the match, 11 points at quarter time, 29 at the half, 37 at three-quarter time, and in the end 55 points in favour of the Bulldogs, who are celebrating. We know that's the same sort of song as used by the Hawthorn Football Club, and they had a real era, didn't they? And now it's Central's turn. All for one and one for all as we look at the goal kickers throughout the afternoon. They've really got some key forwards now.
They have. Now, Nick Prokopek is a young emerging player with 5 goals. Daniel Shaw, once again, continuing on his good form. Chris Gowans, as always, chips in with goals. Luke Cowan with 2 late goals and James with 2. And for West Adelaide, Dean Howard, Ben Rutten were the only multiple goal kickers down there. The rest was very much singles and very much individual performances.
And quickly through the match stats, a lot more handballs and precision play. Centrals were just so good in the clinches, as they always are.
And I think it was more under pressure, I suppose. You know, look, the West Adelaide handballs and their kicks were always under pressure, whereas the Central District's ones, they were able to use it. They're used to that type of pressure, and they were able to take full fold of the pressure as it fell away.
And we were briefly in the rooms there for the song, but I think we might have been kicked out. Sodas is down on the boundary as the night starts to creep in. You get a bit cool down there, Sodas.
Yeah, it is a little bit chilly, Neil. We did get a chance to go in, see them sing the song, but got booted out pretty smartly by Roy Laird. They're obviously not getting carried away with the wind, keeping things under wraps, so he's having a chat with his players there right now as we speak, Neil.
Thanks for that, Sodas. Just injury reports, any updates on the players, mostly, I guess, from West Adelaide?
Yeah, David Piacenti went straight to hospital to get some x-rays. Suspected broken fibula was the word from the doctors, and Ashley Westbrook also a little bit of damage as well to his foot, so they'll have to wait and see how they come up during the week, Neil.
Well, they'll certainly need to buy, that's for sure. As we look at that premiership table, Centrals, as we thought they would be at some stage this season, on top. North Adelaide, incredibly, at 3 wins from 3 matches in 2nd place, and Sturt sitting there in 4th and Westies in 3rd. As we look ahead to next week, Centrals against Sturt at Elizabeth is our match of the day. Plenty to look forward to there. You'd think that Sturt would want to bounce back. The Eagles against North Adelaide, Glenelg, Port and South and Norwood. This afternoon though, Centrals victorious by 55 points. Thanks for joining us. The Anzac Day clash between last year's grand finalists, won by Central District.